Hello, world, and welcome to Double Tap, the show that's recorded a couple times a month, but you would never know that. I'm Jesse. Anybody? Dallas.
I'm Dallas.
There it is.
I'm Gabby.
I'm Colin.
And we're joined by our, what did I call you last time? Secondary recurring guest star.
Something like that.
She's
Special guest
She's
star
not
to
just
me.
like a special guest because she's here like
A recurring
regularly.
character.
Yeah.
It's only regularly because you guys never put anything out. So it just seems like I'm here.
That's true.
Gabby, we need to put out more.
I'm not editor anymore.
That's not. Never mind. That is what he meant.
This is our top 10 of 2017 videos, guys.
Our top 10.
It sounded so sad.
I feel like we should say favorite 10 just so people
Yes.
know it's not the
Well-
best 10, but it's like
Well,
what
no, I
we
mean, it's
like.
top 10 for us. Why does it matter if it's favorite or top?
Because I
It
have
matters for my list specifically.
mine too. Because I have a subjective list and then
Yes.
an objective list.
I
That's
will-
true.
Oh,
Well, I haven't
no.
watched any
All
of
right,
like
we're not
the.
gonna
I haven't watched any of the Oscar movies
Are we
this
not
year.
I haven't
so.
watched as many as I would
Subjectivity
like. I've
versus
watched
A
objectivity.
lot of things
No,
we
that's
touched on.
not. That's a thing.
Yeah,
Family
it's, we're
channel.
not doing
Okay,
that.
so these are our favorite movies of 2017.
Yes. Each of us created our own individual lists, and we're going to go through them. Oh, Lord, help us.
I think we should go from 10 to 1.
I agree.
Let's do that
Let's do
thing.
that.
That makes sense.
It does. So,
Who wants to start?
I can start since you guys will disagree.
yeah, let's just do
with
that.
my
Let's go.
films. The most probably.
Sorry, Colin.
Okay.
No, I.
Wait, what?
I feel like you'll disagree with my films most. Okay, so my 10 is King Arthur, and what's the other? one?
Legend.
Really?
Of the Sword.
Legend of the Sword.
And
Really?
you were about to get on me about Power Rangers.
Right? No,
Let
that's...
her live.
Hey,
Shut
everybody.
up, that movie. It was
I like
entertaining as
God.
fuck.
I'm not
You know
gonna
how
lie, I
many
like-
top 10 worst of the year lists I've seen that movie
I
on
don't
so
give a
far?
fuck. It was
It's-
entertaining as
It's
fuck.
enjoyable.
People's lists
Okay.
don't matter.
I like
Alright.
it.
Okay.
I enjoy
Let
it.
me explain why this is my
Oh,
my top.
Wait. Time out. Before that, I just want to see how long we could go without Jesse and Demi being a dick to somebody about a movie on their list.
Oh, it ain't
I
gonna
wasn't
happen.
And we
thinking
got
of
to
wait,
Hold on.
zero.
wait,
When we get to
Wait.
my 10, y'all are fully able to be... Because my
Wait a
10
minute,
is
wait a
not...
minute. I wasn't a dick. I said, hey, I fully enjoyed that
She
movie.
said, "Let me
Okay,
live."
sorry, just Jesse.
No, Colin said let you live. I said I also enjoyed the movie.
Just Jesse.
And that
But
he was
to be
gonna
honest, it was really Jesse was the one I was worried about.
Yeah, no, I will judge
No,
all the
I'll be
movies.
nice. If you like it, you like it.
Okay.
I have a
Here's what's
fully
on the list.
judgeable list. I'm-
First off, I really like what's the director?
Charlie Hunnam.
No, the
No.
director.
Guy Ritchie.
I'm partial to Guy Ritchie. a
I
little
really
bit.
like Charlie.
I really like the Shakespeare
Yes, you
movies, and I think Charlie Hunnam's a great actor, very charismatic. He did an excellent job.
Green Arrow.
It was like, yeah, ideal Green Arrow for Demi.
Yep.
And it was fun as hell. It got weird in bits, but dude,
I
it was a
did
decent
Green Arrow
movie.
in that movie.
I didn't think that movie got too much shit, and it didn't deserve it.
I agree. I think it did get
It was
too
a
much,
good time.
Too much crap.
Also, I haven't seen as many of the films that these folks have seen because I was unable to go.
Do our jobs.
So a lot of the movies that they have on their top 10, like I haven't seen, so I couldn't do it. But or like
I was
the
gonna say,
shit out
weren't
of
you
King
with
Arthur.
them for most of the
Yeah.
No, I didn't go to Shape of Water or Disaster Artist.
I wasn't there for those either.
I don't watch
Yeah,
that.
so I haven't seen them.
Are we?
Yeah.
So wait, are
And
we
I
just
really
gonna?
want to see those.
10, 10, 10, 10, 10.
Oh, okay, that's
10,
not
10,
fun.
10,
Yeah,
10,
let's
10.
do it. Let's do it.
That's more fun.
I like that.
Interesting.
I like
All
that.
right. Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Okay. All right. Okay.
Dallas,
Okay,
number
okay,
10 on
okay,
your
okay.
list.
Number 10. I would like to point out I like Guy Ritchie on occasion. So.
Justice League.
Okay.
Oh.
Surprise, surprise.
Okay.
My man.
My
man.
man.
Booyah.
That's why.
My man.
It was fun. It was fun. I love
That
the
is-
Justice
yeah.
League
Nothing more to say.
source
Pretty
material,
much.
and I was just like, I just went to watch a Justice League movie and have fun, and it gave me things I wanted. It gave me Cyborg. Flash was silly. Superman uses freaking ice breath, which who thought that was coming?
Nobody has
And-
seen these movies.
Aquaman said, "My man."
He did.
And Flash was the one who made a comment about something being racially motivated when he was talking to
He did,
Cyborg,
yeah.
which is funny to me.
I think he literally just said racially motivated.
Yeah, because he was trying to give him a fist bump.
Yeah.
Yeah. Racially motivated.
Also, I
Flash
wouldn't
was
give a
great.
dude with a robot hand like a fist bump. I just feel like he
It's
might.
just like
I
a
would
soft-
if he'd
I feel
been
like
a
he
robot
knows
for
how
a
to, like-
while, but since he hadn't been a robot for that long, you don't know how much control he
Right,
had.
and his
Sure,
arm
sure.
would throughout the movie spontaneously turn into
Oh,
a
yeah,
laser
no,
cannon.
so
but
it's not
I
risk that.
would not go anywhere near that fist.
Number 10.
Number 10.
Number 10 for you, Jesse.
All right. This is why I'm okay with judging others because I can be judged for this. My number 10 is Greatest Showman. I
Ew.
saw it.
Oh, is that the
I'm
order?
kidding. I haven't seen
Yeah,
it, so I
yeah.
can't comment.
Oh, okay. I was reading it
No,
backwards.
no spoilers. What are you doing? Stop that. God, looking through my private business.
Oh, it's in.
I saw this yesterday
Oh my god.
for the first time. Am I the only one here
So
who's
you
seen it?
didn't
Yeah.
see it?
Yes.
I guess it doesn't matter if you saw it in the year.
I'm probably
No,
gonna see it when
it's
it
as
comes
soon as
out.
it came out,
yeah, yeah.
last year.
Don't make this comment.
They don't know when. This video's not coming out to 2019. Let's be honest.
Good
All
point.
right.
Or like
So,
May.
Good point.
Anyway,
Maybe I'll edit it and we'll get it out.
I acknowledge that it's
Sorry. Go ahead.
Well, it's going
Talk
on
about
your
this movie
computer
that
today,
only you
so.
saw.
okay. I acknowledge it's not a great movie, and I understand why. And if you guys have heard the reviews, basically what they say is like the songs are great, but the movie sucks. Like in between the songs, it's not so much that the movie between the songs suck. It's more that there's not much to it. It kind of feels like they're just rushing from song to song or trying to find excuses.
I think that's what reviewers said. They said that the plot was very thin and that
It
there's
is.
not much there.
It's very simple. It's about a guy starting a circus, and that's pretty much all that happens. They don't really hit any of the points you want them to hit. They'll like reference the fact that he's kind of a jerk to all the people working for him, and he maybe not had an affair, but then they just kind of resolve everything usually. Zac Efron and Zendaya have a love story, and back in the time when this movie takes place, that's not okay because she is black, and he is rich, and they like address it, but then they just kind of don't deal with it, except for in the song, which is great. But that's why I love this movie, because the songs, there are moments during these songs where I'm just like, that is perfect filmmaking. It was so good. Like I said, I wish I had seen it with a crowd. I didn't. But had I, there's no way people weren't like cheering in some of these moments, because I wanted to stand up and cheer, but it was like me and a 75-year-old dude, and I just thought that might be a little bit awkward.
I
so.
would have cheered anyway.
Yeah, but I don't know
Sure
if he
would.
could. He was so old, he probably couldn't have been able to do it. I just
Also,
wanted to
that might have
make
shocked him, and then he had a heart
fun
attack.
of it. Right, exactly.
You know.
But my
Take it
goodness.
there, Colin.
I feel like these are
Why do you have to take
stereotypes.
it there?
Yeah. And Hugh Jackman. I'm only going long about this because it's the one nobody else has seen. I'll go shorter for the rest. But Hugh Jackman, going straight from Logan to this, oh my god, the dude's amazing.
Yeah, he's got range.
He has so much range, and he was so good. And I've been listening to the soundtrack nonstop ever since. And all y'all should
I
just
can't wait to see him in
look up the
not action
songs.
movies anymore. I want to see him enter his dramatic phase.
He's a great showman.
Mhm.
To me, what's your number 10?
First off, I want to give like an honorary mention to Power Rangers and Girls Trip, which I just watched yesterday.
I never saw it.
Girls
see
Trip
that.
was
I did not
hysterical.
see
Oh my gosh. But my number 10, I'm going to say it is Hidden Figures, which came out at the beginning of 2017.
Oh,
yeah.
I guess it
January.
did. I saw it in like
Yeah.
December.
That's a
but I saw it through a
2017
Yeah,
sketchy
it's
way.
a
but-
2017
It's another
movie.
one with a gray area because it had a week of release in December
Did
for
it?
the Oscars. Yes.
Yeah, it
because
has
got
to.
nominated.
It would
So
have
in order
to
to
get
get
nominated.
nominated, it has
That
to
being
have.
said, I'm gonna give it to you because
It did come out in January.
2017, because when I checked the list of movies that came out in 2017, it was on that list.
Okay.
So, Hidden Figures, because that's just a really good movie. I don't know what else
Was.
to say about it. I love Taraji P. Henson, and also just like an actual hidden piece of
Mhm.
history that has never been shown and never
A
been
very
done.
important piece of
And has
history.
never been really talked about, and especially of Black history, which is often
overlooked.
overlooked. So
Hence
yeah,
the title.
so it was great. I loved it. I loved all the acting. I loved the story. I thought it was great. Pharrell did a great job on the music in the film too. Mahershala's in it. So
He is
Mahershala. I always get it.
Mahershala.
Mahershala.
Cottonmouth.
I always get his
Cottonmouth was in it.
Cottonmouth.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I love how he blew up, and I
It's funny because you guys say Cottonmouth, and I'm just like, dude, he was in House
He
of
was
Cards.
in House of Cards. He was in Hunger Games. He was in a lot,
also
but
yeah, he
he's
was in
Cottonmouth.
But
Hunger
yeah,
Games.
House
That's
of
where
Cards
I'd
was
seen
where
him
he came from
first.
first.
No, yeah, I know.
Okay.
That's where I saw him
Okay.
first, but he's still
Yeah,
Cottonmouth.
just
But yeah,
Reach.
so
No, I would
Hidden
never
Figures
get
is
you.
my number 10.
Well, not on purpose.
Also-
Colin.
No, before that, I just want to say I want a sequel to Hidden Figures. Hidden Figures. I want Hidden Figures. More Hidden Figures.
Hidden her figures.
Yeah.
Well,
Because
I
I
feel
want to
like-
see how they
I
dealt
feel
with
like
the
those-
moon landing.
I feel like those women had successful careers in NASA for a long time. So
That's why I want to see what happened for the
that.
moon landing, because you know that these women had something to do with that.
Oh, they did.
And we just skated past it.
Bro.
Unless, of course, the moon landing was fake, then we don't know. Colin,
What's your number 10, bud?
is Stanley Kubrick on your list?
no, I don't like him.
Ooh.
That's fair.
He's dead. Who cares? Anyway.
Damn!
Yikes, Colin.
I thought he died in like the 80s. No, he
He
died
died-
in
yeah,
like
yeah.
98.
Number 10.
40 years,
Whatever,
still
man.
too soon.
I don't care. Anyway,
Clearly.
my number 10 is Thor Ragnarok.
It's on the list.
It's on the list. It made number 10.
You and I didn't
Nice.
like that movie that much.
I know, but
I really
I,
like that one.
Everyone else did.
It's
I
way
love that
higher
movie.
up on my list.
I got
I know,
you.
right?
I got you, fam. Yeah.
It's okay.
I
I gave a
like
shocker
it.
too.
It's a fun movie. There's nothing in it that like upsets me. It's an enjoyable time. I mean, it is.
Yeah,
it is. It's
that's
a
fair.
fun time.
I even brought my
did
hammer
like
out and put it on this table.
And also, it felt like a version of Thor I could get behind, whereas the
Yeah.
other two were fine, but this it was different.
It
God,
was bland.
it was different.
I
but-
feel like the other versions were bland, and this is
yeah.
much more like in the vein of the rest of the
I
Avengers
feel like
movies.
Thor has been the same in all of these movies. It's just the movies that he was surrounded in were bland.
Oh.
No, he was a different
He
Thor
was
in this
way
movie.
I
He
would
was a
say
different
no.
character.
I would say that he's a more emphasized Thor, but he's not a different Thor.
I would say it's
I
very
feel like
different.
he was
I would say so.
less.
He's still frat boy-ish, and he's always been
But
frat
even
boy-ish.
but
No,
like
but
the
he was
first one,
Shakespeare in the part
he's like
before.
rigid in the first.
Yeah.
one.
Right.
Well,
He
it's
loosens
Kenneth
up.
Branagh
That's-
directing.
Like the reason
that's
Tony
why.
Stark makes fun of him
Yeah,
is
but Kenneth
because
Branagh also did Murder on the Orient Express.
Well,
and
no, he
Hercule
still
Poirot in
talks
that
the
is
same.
not.
no, he
religious.
does not. In
Like,
Thor, he talks like a regular California surfer dude. There's no "thou art thee, whatever" anymore in his speech. He went from
He's also been hanging
I
out
am
on Earth
Thor.
for how long
Not,
now?
not between Avengers: Age of Ultron and this movie, none.
Well, no, but he's been spending time on
turning
Earth
into
from
a Thor.
Thor.
It is a Thor, so we don't want to get that. But yeah, I'm just saying he went from
I mean, he spent time after Thor: The Dark World.
from I am Thor, son of Odin to son of a. What are you doing here? So
Like I said, he's been hanging out with a lot of humans recently.
Anyway, yeah, it's good. That's my number 10.
Do you have honorable mentions, Colin?
No, I do
I
not.
figured you would.
He had a hard time creating this list.
Is it just
Yeah.
us? How many do you have?
I would just name one other one that was really on the list.
I
Which
mean,
would be,
technically I named 2,
you did name 2. So
and that was Power Rangers and
Cool.
Girls.
Power Rangers is also one of mine, so I'm not going to name it, even though I just named it.
Me and Dallas agree on Power Rangers. We were hyped.
I didn't see that, and I'm really
that's
sad.
okay.
You should see it.
It's really
I,
fun.
no,
It's so
I,
fun.
I want to
It's
see
so
it.
much fun.
If,
We
if
should
it's
see
fun,
it. We should get together and watch it. I think it would be more fun as a
Oh my gosh, wait, I
Dallas'
want to watch
house because he has a house.
You two watching this movie will double its box office probably.
You know what? The box office was bad, but it actually wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. So,
It wasn't great. It wasn't enough to give
I
us
recently
6
found
sequels.
out that Bill Hader was in it. And
Yeah.
I really
It
wanna
was.
see if
It's
you
great.
know.
okay, what was your other one though?
88.
Your other honorable mention?
Honorable mention. I will mention mine while he's looking for his.
Do it.
War for the Planet of the Apes was my other one.
Cool. I'll
It
take
was-
that off mine.
it
You
was
just
number-
put it on your
It was
list?
number 10 for a very long time, and then movies just kept coming out. I was like, you know what? War of the Planet of the Apes is probably my biggest disappointment of the year,
Really?
and also on my top 10 list.
Oh,
But it had
because
to
there
be
wasn't
bumped.
really any war in it.
Yeah.
Well, also it just
Market.
wasn't as good as I wanted.
Dallas?
That's on me.
All right, so you guys clear 2 of mine. Kingsman, It, Baby Driver.
Ooh, Kingsman. Oh,
Ooh.
Kingsman would be honorable mention for me. Too.
Oh, actually, it would be honorable mention for me as well.
Yeah.
So my number 9 is Logan, mostly because I kind of forgot that it existed, and then
Logan actually should have been
as,
on my honorable
as I
mention.
was making my list, it just got a little bit.
Got pushed down.
It got a little bit, but only because I just like the other movies so much more.
Yeah.
Not that Logan's not an excellent film.
It's a great
And
film.
I thought it was a great job on Hugh
Gabby?
Jackman's part.
This
At least
is,
you have it on your list. I actually took
Right.
it off
Yeah, I
last
don't-
night.
this is one of those reasons why I said it's not necessarily the best. It's our favorite.
No, it's our favorite.
Are the ones you enjoyed most, because Logan is a great movie. Whether you enjoy your time watching it is a
I
different
want-
story.
I want
That's
Daphne
why
Keane
some-
to be in all the things now.
Yes.
I don't
She
know if
should.
she'll be in all the
Absolutely.
X-Men though. Dallas.
It's fun.
Maybe Disney will keep her.
Yeah, they ain't gonna keep her like that.
I don't think Fox was gonna keep her.
Maybe.
Damn it, because she's excellent.
She's excellent.
Dallas, what's your number 9?
Whoa. Number 9, The Disaster Artist.
Nice.
It's on my
I
list.
love that movie. And it was like,
Oh, hi, Dallas.
exactly. I watched The Room and then left my house to watch Disaster
Yes.
Artist. So it was like peak enjoyment for me. It was the most I could have enjoyed that movie. And it was just such a wonderful time. And it's just like so strangely inspiring.
Right?
And heartfelt. It's like, this shouldn't make me feel emotions.
Exactly.
I should just be laughing right now.
Right.
I wanna see
But
that
I was
movie so
feeling
bad.
sad at times.
Oh my
I felt
goodness.
hopeful at times. I was like, I already know how this story plays out. And like,
They played
this
that
is a
with the
journey
gold
for
wine.
me.
Right.
But yeah, it's a fantastic movie.
It's on my list lower, so I'm going to talk about it more when we get there. But it is a great movie.
Bless you.
Bless you.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Your turn, Jesse.
Oh, it's my turn.
Yep.
My number 9, another movie I guarantee none of you saw, The Florida Project.
Nope.
Nope.
No,
Nope.
because it looked sad. So I just
It's
wanted
not
to-
sad. You're going to cry, but it won't be from sadness. It'll
I
just
just-
be from emotion.
I
Like
just
Disaster
feel like
Artist.
crying.
Like Disaster Artist.
I feel like-
Yeah, sadness is an emotion, but it's one you're not necessarily gonna. You're gonna have like that weird, you know, in Inside Out, she has that one ball that's like gold and blue combined.
Oh,
You
we're
know?
like half a yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's
hate her
what that's the
sweet.
entire that's what
Inside
Florida
Out
Project
is
is.
a great way to
So you're gonna
describe
suffer, but
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 you're
you're
gonna
gonna
be
be happy about
it.
it.
I love us all.
Good job.
Florida Project was great. It's a tiny little movie. It's one of those movies I will buy and have on my shelf and never watch again, just because you have to be ready to get
Be
emotionally
invested.
invested in a movie like that. But it reminded me of the best parts of the crappiest parts of my childhood.
Oh.
If that makes any
Okay.
sense. You have to see it's a movie that's
It
hard to
was the-
explain if you
it
haven't
Also,
reminds
seen
me of all
Jesse's
the
been through some
silver
shit, guys. Jesse's been
it.
through
Yeah,
some
right. I have been through some shit, but these are like the good parts.
It
of the
reminds
shit,
him of
you
the
know?
silver linings of all the crap
Yeah,
he went
it's
through.
like a playbook of the silver linings in
Stop
my
it.
life.
Stop it.
Anyway,
Stop it.
that's not on my list. That came out like 6 years ago.
Boo.
Number 9.
Number 9 for me is Fate of the Furious.
Damn. Okay.
Because
I did not expect that.
From Florida Project to
Fate
Fate,
of
I had to
Furious.
make such a mental shift in my head.
Wow, nice.
Because I'm probably the biggest Fast and Furious fan in this group. I've
But
been
the only
that's
Fast and
No,
Yeah,
Furious.
excuse you.
Jesse likes
I
Fast
like
and
Fast and
Furious.
Furious a lot,
Oh, you liked it.
but she's
Okay.
absolutely
I'm
bigger
the
fan than I
biggest
am.
Fast and Furious
Mhm.
fan here, though. Just because, I mean, it's not about the
Bigger than you.
story so much. I'm really attached to the characters, and I don't go to those
There's a
movies.
story?
Yeah.
She said it's not about the story.
What story though? Isn't
She
that
just
There-
wants
there
to
is a
sit there and
story.
watch family.
Listen. You
About
listen.
family.
The Greatest Showman is your number 10. You have no right to talk about anybody's storyline.
I agree. That is very
Oh.
fair. No, this is why I have the right, because you can throw them back at me.
But yeah,
Alright.
so I love the Fast and Furious mainly for the characters and for the actors and the family they've created on set and off, even though some of them are feuding. And I really liked this movie, and it was the first one without Paul Walker, God rest his
Mhm.
soul. And I thought it was a good direction to go into, and it was ridiculous, and that's what I expect when I go into a Fast and Furious movie.
Also, Charlize Theron, hands down one of
The
the best
best
villains
villain.
of this year.
Oh my
One of the best
gosh.
villains of this
Oh,
year.
she
Yes.
was an
One.
amazing villain.
She was great in that movie.
She was the best Fast and Furious
Did you
villain
see
they've had by far.
Yes.
Do you agree with that
Do you
statement?
I don't remember that movie at all.
I mean, that's fair.
There were
But
comments,
Charlize
that's
Theron
all.
was great in it.
No,
These-
Charlize
I
Theron
believe it.
is a great
She doesn't
villain.
phone it in, and you can tell she has a good time when she plays villain.
Oh, she had
Oh,
fun
shit,
in that
yeah.
movie. You know
I
she
feel like
was
she
on
gave
set
a
having
great
fun.
performance. I wouldn't say that she was a great villain. Just because of the character she had to play.
No,
I think she
that
did it
character's
well,
a
but her
great.
character...
No,
like,
I
it
love
was
that
so-
character as a villain.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, I love her because she's all philosophy and just it's so great.
Also, she
I
like
think-
actually got shit done. Like she
she
was
did.
killing
She
people.
got stuff done.
She was.
But like when you get stuff done in the Fast and Furious movie, it's like you wouldn't get stuff done in a movie that has any basis in reality. Like if they took that character and put her in a different type of
She
movie.
shot what's her face in the head. That usually works in real life.
She also
Okay,
was
so we're gonna
the,
ignore
she,
the
she also was
joystick
wait,
cars.
but she
Hey,
was also the
joystick cars was awesome.
She was also
in
the-
another movie.
What?
Probably.
Joystick
Probably. She was also the only
Probably.
person who actually got, a character to turn on their team, and it made sense, and it worked for her for most of the movie.
I don't think it made. I don't know.
It made
This is
sense-ish.
Did we review this movie?
No, we did not.
you
This
didn't.
was before.
This was before you guys actually started this
Oh
channel.
yeah, we started in June.
We did.
Yeah.
We started with Wonder Woman.
But yeah, so
Alright.
Fate
Oh,
of
yeah.
Furious
I
is
don't
on my
wanna turn
list.
this
I'm a
into
huge Fast and Furious fan. It's low on my list, but I thought it
There's
came out
better
in
movies this
2016.
year.
So.
Pretty awesome.
So next up is Colin with
Colin.
number
Yeah,
9.
Colin.
Beat Fate of the
Oh,
Furious. I
shot
dare you.
Number
Colin.
9
Duck McDuck.
is Blade Runner.
Boom.
Ooh.
It's also on
Wow.
my list.
I did not expect that from you.
I thought it
think-
would be higher up on your list.
I mean, I think I give
I'm
it
not sure
the
I
credit that I
understand
do
what you're
because I hate the first one.
That's fair.
And so I went into this one expecting to hate it, and I came out really liking it. Like, not only because it's gorgeous.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
it
Oh,
is.
sure.
I saw
But,
it.
Best
like,
cinematography for sure at the Oscars.
I don't think it'll happen, but I want Ana de Armas to get nominated for Best
Yes.
Supporting Actress because
I'll
she
give
was
you that.
Oh,
fantastic.
so good.
Oh my god.
I think I literally came out of the movie going, "Who was that? And where has she been?"
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
how everybody came out of that theater.
Yeah, she was great. That being said,
I would recommend it.
I highly recommend it.
I think it might be at the $3 theater.
I would say watch the first one and see how you feel about that one.
I just feel
'Cause
like
No,
I
no,
still
no, no,
haven't
because
seen the
me,
first
me
one.
and Colin both are of similar opinions on the first one, and me and him both have the second one on our list. So
Wow.
I mean, I feel like this one wasn't as like it.
Pretentious?
Did, yes.
I mean, yeah, that's fair.
Like it told more of a story than the first one did, and I cared more about the people. Like I feel like I didn't get to know anybody in the first one.
yeah, the first time I watched Blade Runner, every so often I'd feel like, wait, did I miss a scene? I feel like I'm missing something.
I mean, to
Yeah.
be fair, with all the director's cuts out there, you probably are.
I watched the final
You
director's
probably
cut.
should
It's
be
supposed to be the best
so
one.
It's
but,
like,
yeah.
am I missing
Yeah,
something?
this one it's long. It does not need to be as long as it is. My God, but
Another movie on my list that follows that same description.
yeah, that happens. But yeah, it's a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed it. So yeah,
All right.
Gabby, number 8, start us off.
I'm
Okay,
meh
wait, let me
about
pull up my
both Blade
list.
Runners.
Um,
Come on,
Guardians is my number 8. Guardians of the Galaxy
Ooh,
Part
yo,
2.
oh man, that's
Okay,
awesome.
okay.
It is
Honorable mention? Or?
Honorable mention.
Yeah. So, the main reason is there was just other movies that I enjoyed more than that one. But I really like Guardians because we got to see Mantis for the first time, and I really like Mantis. I don't know if I like this version of her, but I certainly enjoyed that she was present. So,
I like that this movie took more of an emotional story
That
instead,
it
of,
did.
instead of action driven. They
Yeah.
weren't like, let's make it bigger. They were like, no, let's make it
let's
bigger
make it
emotionally.
smaller,
I
and, yeah.
feel like they
Um,
overdid it with the comedy on that one. So just because we haven't reviewed this
Well,
one, so we
I
can talk
think-
about it.
I think my problem with it was that they made a like
Yeah,
comedy.
purely comic relief.
And
Oh,
I didn't
so
like
that's always cool.
Rocket's storyline, but I really trust.
Rocket was great.
I just didn't like the overemphasis of it. I felt like
I tell you, I was like,
it was too much.
Too much Rocket.
Like it was no. They were like what is it, like hand holding, not or like over like hitting
Hitting
you over the
over
head
the head
with it.
yeah, like Rocket's a dick because he doesn't want people to get close to him.
Yeah.
In case
Yeah.
you forgot,
Like
Let's
just
do it again.
just
that-
show me, James Gunn. Don't tell me.
I do feel like
Um,
every emotional arc in this movie was started and ended with a monologue explaining the emotional arc.
Yeah, James Gunn, just show me. But I
But
don't think I
Nebula
would
and-
trust anybody else with
Guardians. Nebula and Gamora's storyline for me was.
That was excellent.
fine,
that was
but-
well done, and we finally like got to see like how shitty Thanos is, which like so far in like the.
But again, it was told to us through monologue.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah,
part of the
but I
problem.
just-
but like
I
I,
think
feel like
they
that
did such a-
monologue fit. Like how else?
That's fair.
I mean,
I
they'd
think
have
they
to do
did-
like some sort of flashback.
Yeah, I think they did such a great job with those moments together, Zoe and Karen, that it didn't matter that it was a monologue. It actually felt like he felt that.
I felt like that would be a conversation siblings have.
That would be a
That would be,
conversation we
yeah,
would
yeah.
have to have. because-
I'm a big fan of Karen Gillan. I do
Yeah.
not like her as Nebula in either movie. She
the only problem
overdoes
with
it.
her that I have as Nebula is the like teeth grindiness.
That's the thing.
But other
Every
than that,
line out of her mouth
I think
is
she's
just like
excellent.
this.
But yeah, Guardians was my number 8.
Cool.
Dallas.
Dallas.
number 8 for me is the Lego Ninjago movie.
Ah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Not the Lego movie I put on my list.
It's not the only Lego movie on my list.
Oh, it's not on
Oh,
there.
Hey,
you know
wait.
what? It's that's
I need to do some rearranging
Lego
here, right?
Batman is my honorable mention.
That might be
Cool, we are
honorable.
just popping up with the honorable mention.
Ninjago.
But yeah, this movie, I was excited for it because when I saw the trailer, I was watching Lego Batman, and I was like, oh god, another Lego movie already, I'm so happy. And then it was just really, really funny. And Dave Franco is great as this like just defeated teenager. His Garmadon is great. I don't remember who plays him. Sorry. But like, it's just so much fun. And so silly. And it should be.
I think he was just played by like a voiceover actor.
Yeah, it wasn't anybody I'm really familiar with.
I mean, we might be completely wrong about that, but I'm going to go with it was just like a voiceover guy that we would
But
have.
he did great.
So guys, The Greatest Showman is no longer on my list.
Oh my god!
I completely forgot about Lego Batman. That's my number 9. My number 8 is Get Out
Woo!
because it's a great movie.
It's a good one.
Oh, it's a
I
good
wish
movie.
I could see it, but
It's
I would
so
freak out.
Watch
No,
it.
watch
She
it.
watched it and she hates horror movies.
No,
It
I can't
was-
handle
Yes, you
it.
can.
My imagination
It was hysterical
runs
because I was
wild.
watching it with you
Don't-
and Susanna.
Don't
Yeah, I
don't say
can't,
hysterical.
right?
Somebody's gonna think it's a comedy.
Oh
Don't
my
do that. Don't do
No,
that.
like,
Jordan Peele making a horror movie that's getting Oscar consideration.
I
You ever
really,
think that would
I
happen?
really
No.
like because it's I hear an amazing film.
Yeah, no, it is
It's
a great
fantastic.
film. It's one of the most
So
like
great.
unique and creative horror films I've seen in a long time.
It's great.
This was a great year for horror, and it still managed to stand out. I will never forgive them though for cutting out the demon deer skeleton.
That's in the
Yeah.
trailer.
Right?
I was
That
really
sh-
interested to see where that was going to
That's
come in.
that's the part of the trailer I went, what is this? I need to see it.
Exactly.
It's
What's going on?
probably
I saw
like
it.
an early cut of the
It's
film.
definitely
Yeah,
related to
That's
I know
really
exactly where it
funny.
would have gone to, and it should have been there.
Where? No, don't tell me.
You
I
haven't
mean,
seen the
you
movie.
wouldn't know.
No, I know. It doesn't matter.
I'm like, you wouldn't. You ain't seen
It'd be in the sunken place, clearly.
Yeah.
When he goes to the
definitely
sunken
in the
place.
sunken
Yeah.
place.
Yeah.
Also, speaking of trailers, did you know they wanted to put the scene with the keys in the trailer?
What? Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
heard that.
And Jordan was like, no.
Right?
You can't put that in my trailer.
You can't know that going in because that would ruin the entire experience for you.
I had fun.
If you know that she's.
He's mad at me because I saw
I am
online
mad at you.
memes.
Yeah,
How
I
did
am
How
I-
dare you see
I
the
just-
online memes?
Okay, so to me,
To me.
My number 8 is actually Blade Runner 2049.
Hey.
Yeah,
We talked about it.
like Colin said, I think it's a fantastic movie. I came out of it with one of my friends, and me and him both like raved about it until we got back to our dorm. So yeah, 2049 is on my list.
Best sex scene of the year?
I don't want to talk about that scene.
Am I the only one who legitimately enjoyed that scene?
I legitimately enjoyed that scene for
I
what it
like
was.
that
I
scene.
legitimately hated it.
I think it goes on a little too long because after a while my
Not
brain
long
just-
enough.
My
Did you
brain
see that
starts
movie?
going. I need to.
I really
what's
wanna
what's
see it
happening?
now.
I
That,
wanna
there
watch
was,
it.
wanna see
listen,
the
at
scene.
some point I was just curious about how certain things were going to look, and they never showed me.
It's
Oh,
It's okay.
It's
for the
not,
best.
though.
But yeah,
Yeah.
visuals,
And the holograms
acting,
are too.
writing, all of it, I
Let's
think
see.
just works in Blade Runner's favor. So I think that's a great movie, and I would recommend it. And there's not
Cool.
too much of Harrison Ford, and there's also like not too little.
So a lot of people were disappointed with the mostly lack of Harrison Ford.
I'm okay
Considering
with
he's
that.
on every freaking poster
My
and bigger
problem
than
with
Ryan
it
Gosling.
was,
I feel like that's how you get the audience to come.
Of course, but then they don't get what they wanted.
yeah, my problem was at a certain point, I was like, I've watched this movie for like 2 hours, and he's not even here yet.
Yeah.
So I know this movie's not close to time. And I'm gonna have to be here for a long time.
But yeah,
He
I
hasn't
was,
popped up.
I was okay with that.
Well, now I know.
I think also knowing that it's like almost 3 hours going into the movie
Yeah.
really helps.
It does, but
Oh,
know
yeah.
that
Dude,
like
I feel that 3 hours.
The thing
yeah,
is you
I'll
still
say
feel
an
it.
hour and 45 minutes of that is
See-
just establishing shots.
But I see the thing is though, I love
noise.
a lot of those shots though.
They're
I
gorgeous.
love that.
See, the
I
thing is
love
that
the
take
sitting.
those shots as
I love the
still
sitting.
frames. Yeah,
Right.
gorgeous.
Do that.
No,
Yes.
but
But I don't need the 20
I,
seconds of that.
some of those I really like the stillness of them. I really like the waiting and holding on
I
them.
get it. He's
so.
walking up the stairs. They're pretty stairs.
Right.
He can get to the top now.
There's
There
a
were
lot
some.
of dust.
There were
It's pretty
some
dust.
line you could
It's very
cut
pretty
down.
dust.
So
but
what
I
you're
liked
telling
it.
me is somebody could take this and do a fans cut and just cut.
I mean,
Yes, you
that's
can.
what Ridley Scott spent 30 years of his life doing. Just
So-
for that, just putting out new and fan edits of Blade Runner. Until
Alright.
like 2004 was when the final cut came out.
Something
Something
like
like that. Yeah.
Number 8, Colin, for you.
Number 8, Colin.
My number 8 is Coco.
Hey!
Yeah!
Wait, Colin, this is starting to look a little too similar.
This is where
Oh, I'm
Jessica's
sorry.
Mexican
We
side
like the
comes
same
out.
things. No
Yeah.
wonder we're
Hey,
friends.
hey, I'm in love with the Coco.
Me
Okay,
too.
that's-
It's
Okay.
way up on my
Such a
list.
good movie.
Continue. Yeah, go.
Anyway,
Okay.
What the hell, Jesse?
Is that on
You
there?
forgot Coco too?
Florida Project's no longer on my top 10.
Jesse! You had
Please,
time.
Please do
There's
this.
so much
for
time.
us.
There's so
You've been
many.
compiling
Okay.
this for a while.
No, okay, here's the thing.
I feel like he's had his list longer than the rest of us.
I had my list on my old phone, and I left my phone at home, and I realized
Okay,
I would need to
you
do
know
it, so
how
I did it
made
from
my
memory,
list?
and I
I
screwed it
looked
up.
up a list of movies that came out last year. In that list, you would see all the things that aren't on your list,
But I
and you
didn't-
would remember. Oh, I really like
I
That's
that.
just
what
one.
I
I
did.
went based on my memory. And I was
Nope.
like,
You
So where's
shouldn't
Coco
have
now?
done that.
So
Coco
Colin,
is
Coco
coming.
is
Coco's coming.
number 8. You said number 8.
No, yeah, you're
Yeah, number 8. Yeah.
It's number 8.
No matter
Coco's
what you-
number 8 on my list. That movie is delightful.
It's
Very
amazing.
delightful.
Like the music is great, the acting is great, the visuals are great.
Oh,
I also like the, like I don't speak Spanish, and there's a decent amount of Spanish in that movie that just isn't translated, and I'm glad. Like
Well,
it shouldn't
part of
be.
it I think is you live in California and there's
Well,
a lot
yes.
of Spanglish around you.
But even then, there's
I don't
still
understand
terms
that.
that I did not understand, and that's fine. I like that they did that. That they didn't bother to say, "Hey, we know that you might not know Spanish, so we're going to explain it." No, these people know Spanish. This is how they're speaking. Deal with it. I like that. I
If
like
you don't
that.
know what mi familia means, sorry.
Well, that one, yeah, but like you know,
If
Or
you can't figure that
ofrenda.
out.
Or ofrenda.
It's more often.
but in
They do
general,
explain
I
that
just,
one, though.
Like,
I get
They
it.
explain what an ofrenda
Or
is.
movie
chancla.
was
Did they,
so
did
much
they say
fun.
chancla? But y'all
No,
know
they didn't
chancla
explain
is.
what
No, they
Is
said
that
shoot.
what it
They
is?
just said shoot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was
Oh,
disappointed.
she didn't say
She
shoot.
didn't say
I
chocolate.
said
She
chocolate.
should have said
We were all thinking chocolate.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted, when she throws it at the dog, I wanted it to come back. I did wanted it. It's a
No.
cartoon. You can do this in cartoons,
No,
but they
it's
didn't.
better.
It was
Okay.
better. Go get
Now
my
go
shoe.
get my shoe.
Now go get
And
my
then
shoe.
like he didn't even hesitate, which is like the most Latino thing ever.
Of course,
I
it's
tell
just-
my little cousins like without even thinking to go do things for me, and they'll be in the middle of something and just blindly get up and go do it because that's what you're supposed to do.
I was so mad we didn't get to do a review of this one. I
know.
really wanted to review this one. It's such a good movie.
it's great, and it feels like I feel like it's one of those movies where you watch it and you know that everybody making it really enjoyed making it, and I feel like that comes across in the movie just the
Yeah.
entire time. It's so
Even without that video, then
Heartfelt.
like we were really excited to make this.
yeah.
All right, Gabby, number 7.
Okay, my number 7 is The Last Jedi.
Nice.
Thought it was a really good addition to a Star Wars movie, and it went somewhere that I didn't know where it was going to go, which was what I was
Sure.
hoping would happen with this new Star Wars movie. It was great. It was beautiful, excellent, and we got to see more Poe Dameron, who's my favorite ever, and yeah.
Lower on my list, so I'm gonna keep my mouth shut for now until we get there.
You mean higher on your list?
Whatever. It's closer
It's
to
lower
1.
physically on yours.
Okay, that's because iPhones don't let you number from 10 to 1. They're stupid that way.
What?
You could just read it from
Number
time.
That's what,
Like
what I'm
I
doing.
am.
That's what I'm doing.
No,
yeah.
No.
It doesn't matter. It's fine.
Dallas
Your
Number
list
Dallas
is
number
all jumbled
7.
up anyway. Number
Yeah,
7.
I know, right? His
Fine.
list is all messed up.
Get out is 10 now.
Yeah, okay, we'll see how long that lasts.
Anyway, number 7 for me is Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman.
Hey.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hey,
wait, that didn't
okay.
make my list.
Oh,
Before
God, really,
we-
Jessica?
No. Before,
I forgot.
before we did the rearrangement, it was also my number 7.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Now it's 9.
Now it's 9.
Anyway.
Anyway.
Yeah, it's fine.
Oh, I just left it off.
You heard about Wonder Woman. That was our
Oh,
first review.
Yeah.
Remember that,
Yeah.
guys? So yeah,
Don't do
you know my thoughts on it.
first review. I would say you could argue 2017 was
Our
like the year of
lifespans
Wonder
are
Woman.
only so long.
I guess. I didn't put her on my list.
Also,
Wow,
I know.
really?
Not mine.
What?
You didn't put it on
You
your
didn't
list?
put Wonder Woman?
But only because I forgot. And I don't want to make any edits right now.
I know your pain.
Several times over.
Yeah.
No, Wonder Woman was great, and yeah, it's not technically the best movie ever made or whatever,
But that's
but
not what this is
that's
about.
not what this
Jesse.
is about. Exactly.
It's about-
No, I'm just saying, like, in terms of, like, can I call this a great movie? Yes, I can, even though it has these flaws. I'm like, no, this was absolutely, even if it was an objective best movies of the year list, it would be up there and it'd be pretty high.
Yeah, it's just low on my list because of all the other movies that it made me think of. It's just like, oh, I've seen that before. Oh, I've seen that before. Oh, I've seen that before. Oh, I've seen that
But
before.
Wonder Woman did it better.
It did a lot of it.
It did it very
For
well.
usually.
Yeah.
For everything except for the stuff that reminded me of
Marvel.
Moana.
Moana?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
But
we had
like,
that discussion.
it did the Captain America stuff better. It did the Thor stuff better. But it's just like, she's just like, you know, I'm Diana of the Mascara. You were born my boat. Like,
And across the sea.
and I was like, okay, go find Maui. I mean, Aries, you know, do your
Yeah.
thing. But yeah, it was good. I loved it.
Also, has any movie ever had as much pressure on it? Not only
No.
was it the first
Black
female-
Panther, maybe.
Black Panther.
Black
No, because Black Panther does not have the fate of the franchise on its
You can
shoulders.
argue-
You know what? That's fair.
Well,
If
the
Black
thing is,
Panther
it's all
fails, the
franchise.
MCU will be
argue?
fine.
Phantom Menace.
No, they didn't.
No?
Because Phantom Menace did fail, and yet the franchise still
No,
succeeded.
but I'm saying pressure before it came out.
Right, pressure applies to like.
No, because you could also
Leading
say
up
the same
to
thing about Force Awakens.
gonna
I don't
say
think there was
Black
pressure
Panther.
so much as it was just an abundance of love.
Anticipation.
Wonder Woman should have failed and could have failed. It was the first female superhero. We don't talk about the
It's
other
not
ones. It was the first. It was the first female superhero. It had the DCEU on its shoulders. It didn't have an actress in its lead. It had a skinny supermodel who had only done Fast and Furious up to that point.
That's not true. She had done another movie.
Oh, that's
Triple
stupid.
Nine?
Yeah, no, Triple Nine
the-
too. But yeah.
Oh, I was thinking.
But she
But-
was like,
but
she was in
really-
another movie too with Ryan.
Yeah,
It was a
but
comedy,
she
right? It was a comedy.
No, there was another one with Ryan Reynolds.
Whatever. Point is, this was like really,
Although
really
she
what she was
wasn't really
known
in
for.
Triple Nine. She like passed.
No, but
for
she
it
played.
in
I think she
Triple
played Ryan Reynolds' wife in a movie. That one where he had. It's Ryan Reynolds or Ryan Gosling. It's one of the Ryans. Where they take the
Selfless?
person's.
Cool.
Yes.
She's in Selfless?
She was
She's
also
the
in
wife?
Like Joneses.
I didn't see Selfless.
She's
That's the
in-
one I was thinking.
Or
Zac
after,
Efron
I
actress.
think?
Did it come out after?
That was
And,
before Wonder
what's
Woman.
his name?
That was right before.
Yeah, that was before.
John Hamm.
Sure.
John Hamm.
And also, she had to make her debut in a Zack Snyder film. So, like, the cards were stacked against her. From this movie shouldn't have worked as well as it did, and it did. It pulled all of that
did.
off. I was able to.
Did.
Okay, so
Sorry,
your number 7?
Criminal.
Okay,
Because remember, this was his number 7.
it was my
Oh,
number
okay.
7.
The most.
Now it would be Coco, but that means we would skip Split, and we're going to talk about Split. 'Cause Split is my number. Who
So-
gives a
It was
shit
on
at
my
this
list
point.
for a bit. It
So
came out
it's Split.
really
You
So
said
fast.
Jesse
there was
actually
Coco,
has a
yourself.
list of 15, guys.
No, it's 12.
Jesse doesn't have a list. Jesse has
Jesse
a
just
jumble
saying-
I'm going to say it's Split.
Jesse is
Just
a
like
mess.
it's
I'm going to go with Split.
All
All
right,
right?
let's say Split.
Split was fantastic.
You've been waiting to talk about
Unbreakable-
Split since
I've
it
been
came out,
waiting
so
so
let's
long
talk
to
about
talk about Split. Unbreakable was one of my favorite movies of all time. And M. Night has been trying to make a sequel to that movie since that one came out. And then his career went like this. And I've been so sad for so long. And
Let's
then he
surrender.
kind of...
What did he?
Why did you say that?
What did she say?
She's talking about his cinematic masterpiece.
Oh,
his magnum opus.
let's
That
not
is
talk
The
about
Last
that.
Airbender.
We don't want to talk about that
He
movie.
kind of came back with the visit, and I was like, hey, look, that didn't suck. Well done. And then Split was so good, and I was enjoying my entire time in the theater. And then that last 5 minutes happened, and I was like, what did I just see? Blew my mind. I freaking love this movie. James McAvoy needs the Oscar for Best Actor. He will not get it, but he should.
He's not gonna
This
get
movie
one.
is worth the price of
He
admission
was
just for his
amazing.
performance
That's
alone.
actually true.
And that's not to take away from Anya Taylor-Joy's, that's her name, right?
I
I said
don't-
that right? I get that
I
right?
believe
The
that's
main
right.
chick's
Yeah, the
I just-
performance.
I just call her off-brand Kendall Jenner.
The Vivitch chick.
Oh, how? Because she kind of looks like Kendall Jenner.
Get out.
Does she?
Yeah, she does.
That's,
talked about that
that's at
one.
number 9.
Um,
Yeah, she does great, and he just, I mean, oh my god.
I have nothing to say. About
Like,
that.
literally, had we talked about that movie, the thumbnail would be all of us with his head just on each of our shoulders, because he could play all of us.
That's
Oh,
true,
let's do
and he
this.
would do
let's
amazing.
just
He
make
would
friends
be
with
so
him
good.
so we can have him do a Reshoots review
Right?
for us.
Okay.
All right, so that was my
So,
number
my number.
something.
Sad.
Your turn.
7.
All right, my number 7 is Coco. Because I'm following Colin.
Coco.
I don't think I need to say more than what
Yeah.
Colin said about Coco.
Coco's
What
good.
made watching the movie better was because I was sitting between Jesse and Gabby and listening to both of them like excitedly talk about the representation that
She
they were
was
seeing. on
daring me to
screen.
do a grito in the middle of the theater.
I
and
didn't
wasn't
dare
gonna do
you.
it. You were daring
I
me.
didn't dare you.
Every time they
He-
do it in the movie, she'd
no.
be like,
No, it would come up and I'd look at him like, really? Don't you dare.
I wasn't gonna. But then she was like, every time. So,
Not that
Blocking
dramatically
you, Jealous?
because Jesse's
You
more
what?
extra than I am.
I'm not blocking you, right?
I don't
No, he's not. You're not.
So, anyway.
Oh my god!
Jesse.
That's what you get.
This is why it's taking us so long.
Hey, Tony.
All right, right.
love
Calm,
saying.
calm your shit, Iron Man.
You woke it up.
He has awakened.
Okay, continue.
So yeah, Coco is number 7 on my list. I thought it was great, and I'm pretty sure it's the only animated movie on my list. So go
Oh, God.
Coco.
Go, Coco.
Speaking of
you, Glenn Coco.
Go for you, Glenn Coco.
oh god, speaking of hilarity, that movie has probably my favorite joke of the year, which is the her knuckles dragging along the floor joke in the movie.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh my god, that's hilarious. Couldn't believe they put that in there.
There's children present.
There are children present.
College.
Colin.
Number
What
7.
number? My number 7
No, I know what else
is
I
Shape of Water.
Nice.
Oh, I got the
I knew
list.
that would be
I
on
bet
your
it
list.
Got on the list.
I was hoping
It's-
it'd make the list
That
after all
movie
this.
is
Hype.
beautifully made. And
It's beautiful.
Beautifully
great.
made.
It is.
It's something,
It is,
if
though.
any of
Like,
one of you
there's
guys want to go, I really want to see
so
it.
much
We'll
attention
probably
to
go.
how
I want to see Out of Time.
pretty it is and the
I want to
whole
see that one too.
tone of it. Like, it feels like a fairy tale, which kind of should.
It is, yeah.
And I
Pretty much.
really like the aesthetic of it. Not so much the racism. You could do without the racism, but like, you know.
Can you in a movie that takes place in America in the 50s though?
Could.
Did it have to take place?
Well, because the whole point of the movie is like accepting people who are different from you. I feel like that.
I
kinda
know,
goes
but you
hand
got
in hand.
racism and homophobia in one scene. Like, dang.
Whoa,
alright.
what
Yeah, that's true.
now?
Oh yeah, they had to get that out of the way so you get back to the fish.
There's also sexism, wasn't there? Yeah, there was sexism up the wazoo.
Oh my god.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
definitely was. Absolutely
Yeah,
there was.
So all the phobias.
It was all isms.
You got all the
bad isms.
popular isms.
Yeah,
Fun.
Anyway,
including fishism.
Yeah.
Ableism?
Possibly.
With the main
Probably.
character,
Isn't she
right?
deaf?
She's a
Ah, there you go.
you know what?
Yeah,
yes,
well
yes,
done.
and they do make some very not nice remarks about her.
Yeah.
They just covered all their
She gets
bases.
fetishized.
All-
That's
she
something
does,
I didn't
yeah,
expect.
it's,
I didn't
She
expect
gets
that
this-
kind of ableism.
Wait,
Anyway.
she gets fetishized too?
Anyway,
does.
yes, she
Poor
does.
woman.
It's gross.
It's okay though. She get.
Is it though?
That being said,
She gets.
the movie
Mhm. I can't
is
say it.
great, and it. Okay,
Stop.
I hate the
I'm
both of
sorry.
them.
ignoring them. It also is
Ignore us.
just amazing to me because this movie came out like a month ago. In 4 months, Guillermo del Toro has a movie about robots fighting monsters. And
Oh yeah.
Technically, he didn't
He
make
didn't
that
direct
one.
that one though.
oh, you know what? He didn't.
No,
he
He did
produced
make the
it.
first one, and it is his baby.
Mhm.
And the fact that he can go from something that is nominated for Best Picture at the Golden Globes to let's punch some monsters in the face.
Yeah.
He's
No,
just
He has range.
really talented, and he does. Like, he has really creative range.
I want to have that much range when I become a famous.
And I do
director.
feel like he
I want to punch
has.
monsters in the face.
Like, I don't know that I'd say he has like a distinctive like style in the sense of like you see a Tim Burton movie, they all kind of look in a certain way. I don't know that Guillermo del Toro has that, but I feel like when you watch a Guillermo del Toro movie, it's a Guillermo del Toro movie, and nobody else
Mhm.
could have made that movie.
Also, it helps that like he's a pretty accomplished artist as well. So I
That
feel
too.
like it's very easy to like
Lucky.
accomplish
Right.
your visual like when you're the one drawing the visual and people just
Mhm.
have to
Yeah.
replicate what's coming out of your mind. Because I don't know if you went to LACMA, but they had
did.
No.
At Home with
we did
Monsters?
it- We went to that, and they had his.
Think I
So for every
That's great.
film, he basically fills a moleskin full of all his ideas. And they had like 4 of them out, and they would only be open to one page, but then the digital would have everything that you
Mhm.
could flip through, and it was absolutely amazing. And it's all like his handwritten stuff and his drawings
God,
and
that
his
sounds
everything.
Mhm.
So like, I feel like that only helps like his
Oh, no,
vision
it
because he can
definitely does.
physically put it on the page. So he doesn't have to describe it to somebody.
But I love when you read like or you hear some of the inspirations for some of his character designs. Like Pacific Rim, he went through all the kaiju. He was like, this one was a spoon, and he just like created a monster out of that. Like he saw a spoon, and was just like, I want to make a monster that looks like a spoon. So now this one's a spoon. I don't think it was a spoon. I think it was a knife, but still,
Doesn't matter.
right? It was
That's
the
cool.
point is it was a piece of silverware, and he was
It's
just
like
like,
the guy
that's a
from
monster.
Beetleborgs. Did you watch that show?
Yeah, I did watch that show.
This is the guy who
I
just draw
forgot it
monsters
existed.
and bring them to life. He was basically Guillermo del Toro.
Basically, yeah, that's what he does.
Oh my gosh, we need to move on to the next one.
He should make a Beetleborgs movie though.
Yeah,
Oh,
me
that's
number
nice.
6.
So not my number 6 is Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Woo!
Spider-Man.
I did not know anything, or
No,
I
we
didn't do very much research going in, and it was a delightful surprise. It was like a feel-good movie, and it was like a teen rom-com. It was great. It was a great movie. It made me feel good. It was a feel-good movie.
Twas.
I enjoyed it.
It was. All right, going from that
No one else
feel-good
has
movie.
any other comments on that movie?
We're all
All
going
right.
to talk about
Because we
Spider-Man.
all had to talk about it at some point.
All right.
All right, so we're going to jump from feel-good to my number 6, which was Logan.
Yikes.
Not a feel-good movie.
Not at all.
No.
It is
Depressing.
like I've been trying to find out or just figure out since I saw the movie. Like, did I have fun watching? Like, did
No.
I enjoy myself?
If you did, I'd have questions.
Like, it
Be
was
concerned.
good. It was really
You might
good.
enjoy the fight scenes.
I did, but even those were just like,
Especially the opener when he just like slices through someone's head. It was
I think what it is you don't enjoy it, but you can appreciate that it makes you feel as much as it does.
yeah.
Like, you're not feeling good, but man, it makes you
I'm
feel
feeling something.
I'm feeling.
many
I
I
don't know what I'm feeling, but I'm
enjoyed
feeling.
X-23.
There we go.
Like, when she was on screen, I was genuinely having a good time. I was like, you are great.
She walked
I
towards
love
that
you.
guy holding that head.
Yes.
And
Threw
pretty much
it at him.
every interaction she had
Right.
with Logan was
Rector
spectacular.
Delilah.
When she like yells at him in the car and slaps him.
Yeah,
It's great.
that was
Yeah.
great. Punch
So
in the
yeah,
nose.
Logan.
So, yeah,
All right.
Logan.
So yeah, Logan.
So yeah, Logan.
So my number 6.
Yep.
Is that wrong? It
Yes.
was Coco.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now
I
you
love
followed
Coco.
us up.
No, I caught up on my list. I've arranged everything right, and my number 6 is Coco.
We'll see how that goes.
Wait, did you already
love
talk
it.
about Coco? Coco?
I mean, we kind of
Basically,
all
no,
talked.
kind of.
It's been
No,
brought
like,
up
did he
twice
mention
already.
and
was
I
Coco
did.
at somewhere else on this list before?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I was able to. Yeah.
I'm getting confused.
Me and
That's
Colin were
all right.
talking
I
about
got
it, and
it. We're caught up
Jesse included himself in the talk. So
Gotcha.
Yeah.
he kind of
So yeah, everything I said about Coco was said about Coco. Tis a great movie. It will absolutely win the best animated,
Oh yeah.
Thing
should
Hands
win.
down, easy.
and
Just gonna
it
say
could be
that.
nominated for best original song too. I don't know which song you go
Oh,
with,
it's definitely
but
going to be.
probably Remember Me.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
gonna
Remember
they're
Me
gonna
was
they're
gonna
gonna
be
do Remember Me.
Remember Me.
It's way better in Spanish.
That's true.
And Marco Antonio Solís sings
No,
it.
no.
Recuérdame.
we're not done because he's singing.
He's still singing. You still singing? You good?
There's like a famous.
Do I have to say
Oh,
goodbye?
okay.
Remember
Alright.
me.
There's a really famous, like, beloved Latino singer that actually does De La Cruz in what do you call
Oh,
it?
in Spanish.
In Spanish. So. I
Well,
think
Benjamin
he
Bratt
sings
gonna
it.
do it in Spanish?
No, it's Marco Antonio. Well, because all of Latin America was like El Bukis. Yes.
Fine.
Marco Antonio Solís is a singer. He looks like Jesus. He's part of a band called the Bukis. He's got a great voice. He's yeah,
All
A lot
right.
of people love him. And now you know.
And now we
you
know.
know.
The more you know.
My number 6 is actually Get Out.
All right. I
Which
figured
I
it was
was-
gonna be.
I was late.
Fire.
I was late to the game for, but I'm glad that I watched it. I was eventually gonna see it. But yeah, it was great. I don't know what else to really say about it except that you guys should watch it because I think it's a really important film for people to see.
Don't look up spoilers beforehand. So
I
don't
didn't
try
look
to
up
Look up
spoilers.
spoilers.
You
It
literally
was
said
there.
it in this
I did say
video.
it.
It's too late now.
It's not like me. I
T.S. motherfucking A. Bleep that out too.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, I don't know if there's much more I can say. It's well written. It's really awesome. I think Allison Williams deserves an Oscar nomination
Mhm.
for just one scene in that movie, but she's probably not gonna
Phone
get
call.
one. Yeah, that phone
The
call.
phone
Oh my
call.
God, the
She-
phone call.
She deserves a nomination for that phone
She
call.
does. She did.
I've
Forget
never
the
seen-
nomination.
How do you
Just
do
give
that?
her the award.
I've
Just
never,
give her
I've never seen any
something.
actress or actor do that.
I almost want to
like,
say
I
that.
was scared for my life.
I was like, oh my God.
I almost want to say that has to be ADR, but I'm like, please don't ever tell me it was ADR.
I don't
If
wanna
it
know
is,
that.
I don't want to
I
know.
want her to have
What's
done
ADR?
When they go back and record the
additional
dialogue.
dialogue recording at the
Yeah.
end. From that scene, I was like, how? What? How did you do that? But yeah, she deserves an award for that.
Yeah,
Which is funny because when
And
you
you
said
guys should see the movie just to understand what I'm talking about when I say that phone call.
true, it's an experience.
It's an experience. And Lil Rel is amazing in that movie.
He's great.
He's so good.
I've been a fan of his since middle school.
Oh wow.
So it's really cool to see him and Tiffany Haddish. I've been a fan of both of theirs since middle school.
Wow.
So it's really cool to see them like rising up to the top.
Welcome to the Carmichael Show.
Yeah.
Colin.
Number
Colin.
6, right?
Sure.
What's my
Go with
number
that.
6? My number 6
We don't know yet.
is Atomic Blonde.
Hey.
Whoa, okay.
I didn't see it.
It's fun.
I want to.
Freaking good.
It's like, I don't really like action movies that much.
Did
I
you
kind
watch
of get
Power
bored.
Rangers?
I think the reason this one is so good is because it was directed by a stuntman. Like, and they gave him free range, and it was made on a lower budget. Like, it's just a good ass.
I don't know.
This is actually why I don't like the movie as much as you guys did.
I haven't seen it.
Because no, that because the fight scenes are amazing.
I bet.
But it's like what they say about
The
Greatest
Greatest Showman of
Everything in
action
between for me was like a stuntman directed this. Like,
Okay.
like
See,
these stunts are great, but
I
this
liked
everything else
the
is
rest of
okay.
it, too.
Because I kind of want to be like, who directed Hardcore Henry or whatever the hell that movie's name
that
was?
wasn't
Because
good,
I
no.
was like, that wasn't a good movie. Was that directed by a stuntman? 'Cause
I don't know who.
Well,
I think
it
that was
was
directed
like
by
co-directed by a
Charlotte
stuntman. Like,
I don't
the-
think it was.
it was
Oh,
co-directed by a
no.
stuntman.
I know I should see it.
So there was another group,
Yeah.
but I liked it.
But yeah, the fight scenes because
don't
I
know,
think he's doing
mostly-
Deadpool too.
I mostly just liked it
No,
like,
it's the John Wick guy.
aesthetically. I mean, it's
That is
soaked in
Is that
neon
guy?
and 80s music,
Mhm.
and that's a fantastic combination.
Mhm.
Like
Think
it's
of it,
just-
a modern movie using 80s music.
But this one, I feel like it does a really good job with it because it's set in the
Okay.
80s and it works well.
Also, there was a lot of
I didn't know it
synth.
was
Like,
in the
it got the 80s synth in there.
Yeah.
Which I feel like most of our new movies that use, like, music from the 80s don't get that, like...
I was thinking that, I was trying not to. I was trying not to go. There's a movie channel.
I know, but.
But see, the reason this works better than that for me is because this isn't trying to play on nostalgia.
Yeah.
It's set in
Really?
the 80s, and there's 80s music,
So it's just,
and it works better.
okay.
It's just set in the 80s.
I do wanna see it.
The best song in that movie is the scene in the end, that angry Russian song. I don't know what the song is. I don't know what it's saying. It's in Russian, but it's just a man yelling in a Russian
And then Charlize
while
Theron's
she's beating
shooting
somebody
people.
up and killing people.
I
It's
got
like,
another movie on my list with a random person yelling.
Oh,
We'll
God.
get there.
I
No.
hope we do.
So we should
So-
watch Atomic Blonde, apparently.
I think we should do that. We should do a day where we watch Power Rangers and Atomic Blonde.
Okay with this.
Can we? That's a weird day.
We have reached the top 5, ladies and gentlemen.
Top
We
five!
made it.
It's gonna be the same movie
Thanks
we've
for
heard about
staying
already.
with
I know it is, actually.
I think one of mine on this list isn't going to be on any of your lists.
What's your number
Ooh.
5?
Right?
My number 5 is Baby Driver,
Hey!
which is on another
It was an
It's on
honorable
my list.
mention.
It's
It's on your
It's
list?
on my list.
That would be 11 for me. if
I
it
know why
wasn't
it's
for
on
my
your list.
Your list is so. You said it'd be number 11.
It
if
would
was
have been if it wasn't for
Okay, your
for
list
Zip.
is not.
It's
count.
It's number 13 now.
Anyway, dude, Baby Driver was great.
It was.
Is all I'm gonna say.
I'm not going to talk anymore about it because when we get to it
Yeah.
on my
Oh,
list,
yeah.
I'm going to spend it.
No way.
It was a good time. Ansel Elgort immediately made me feel for him. Dude, everybody else in the movie was delightful. John Bernthal's like 5 minutes were like the best.
You just described his entire career.
I know.
Never the 5 minutes worth of that.
He got an entire
But that's all he
series.
needs. 'Cause he's so
On movie,
amazing.
his entire movie career.
The music
Based on
was
that,
catchy
5
as
minutes.
hell. The driving, it was well
Fantastic.
done.
The driving was great. The baby was great. It was just the baby driver
And
was great.
excellent use of the tinnitus. I have a friend at work that has tinnitus, and he like watched the movie just for that, and he was like, "It was good." I'm like, I'm glad.
Awesome.
So,
Dallas,
It
number
was the definition
5.
of fun.
My number 5 is.
Stop blocking your phone.
Guardians Volume 2.
Really?
way
It
higher
is.
on his list than
It
mine.
is. I love this movie, and my only issues were the whole like, oh, let's all have our issues with like, you get an issue, you get an issue, you get an issue.
And I mean,
Everybody
the thing
gets
was
an
they
issue.
all already had issues. This was just the movie where they were like, let's deal with everybody's issues.
But
it
it
was-
just felt like, okay,
I'm gonna ask
you have daddy issues.
Yeah.
You have worse daddy issues. Maybe.
Everyone had
But I
that.
mean, we knew they had all these issues.
We did, but it's just like when you go from scene to scene and everyone's just like,
Oh yeah, no, but
this
everybody.
is my problem. This is my problem.
Like I
this is
said,
my
this was
problem.
the movie where it was literally everybody just dealt with their issues.
But it was
Yeah.
the way they did it was, I'm gonna ask you an unrelated question, and you will answer with a monologue about your life. It was literally like, so what are we gonna do now? When I was 12, my daddy hit me. I didn't answer my question at all.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Like-
hit him back. turn into
trying.
turn into Pac-Man and hit him back.
Turned into
But
Parenting 101.
exactly.
Don't make the choice.
Don't do that. Don't.
Also, you know, I'm Mary Poppins, y'all.
I'm Mary
Oh,
Poppins,
yeah.
y'all.
Also, that scene where he's walking through
Uh,
and his arrow is going through and
That's my
everything turns
favorite.
black.
Oh, that was so good.
That's one of my favorite scenes of the year.
Come
I
a
think
little bit closer.
Or, like,
that movie.
honestly, the scene where
Good
he's
God, that
like,
scene
he may
alone.
have been your father.
But
But
yeah.
your daddy.
Daddy.
I appreciate
feeling.
all of our yondus. Colin, do your yondu.
I'm not gonna
Colin,
Jesse?
say he wasn't your daddy.
no.
Just say I'm Mary
Do the
Poppins,
daddy.
y'all.
I'm not,
I'm Mary Poppins, y'all.
not doing
What'd you
that.
say? What'd you tell him to do?
Also, Michael Rooker is still repping the I'm Mary Poppins,
Of
y'all.
course,
It's like-
as we
he
should.
is.
Till
It's
the
like
day
his
he
hashtag.
dies.
It's like his hashtag on every other photo,
I
and I'm
love it.
like, yeah.
People are gonna scream that
The
at him for
Rooker,
the rest
man.
of his life.
Yeah.
And he should have accepted
And
that.
he's
That's
really happy.
He probably
Triple
he's
G.
very
He
happy
earned
about
it.
that.
Mhm.
That's his
Great guy.
thing. All right.
Solid dude.
Number 5, man.
Number 5.
Oh, it's my number 5.
No.
My number 5 is Logan,
Nice.
which we've talked to death, I think. So
Yeah.
Logan was great.
So-
Cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a movie that's good, but sad.
Sad.
Yeah.
Moving on. It's a autobiography, My Life in Arizona.
No, it's
Or a
not.
biography of my life in Arizona.
So my number 5 is Thor Ragnarok
Nice.
because it was hilarious and it was great, and Valkyrie is like my new favorite character that's been brought into the MCU, and I can't wait to see Tessa Thompson kill it.
Favorite?
No, I said she's one of my.
You said my new favorite.
No, she's not above Black
Okay,
Widow.
all right.
And she's not even above Daisy. She's top 3 though.
Okay, I was gonna say that was a
She's-
big statement. I just wanted to
She's
clarify.
definitely top
Agents of
3.
S.H.I.E.L.D.
That's a shit.
So she's 3.
Huh? She's 3.
Okay.
She's 3.
Sorry. I forgot
Dina
about
Badani's
the
probably
show.
top 5
It's
though.
fine. Most people do.
But yeah, no, Valkyrie is great. We've been quoting Korg for like
Yeah.
all
We have?
day.
Hey, man.
Ah.
Hey, man.
Hey man,
Hey man, how you doing?
hey man, you want to
We're gonna do our top 10 list. You wanna go?
I think it's the best Thor movie that they've come out with. I thought that it was really cool that they tried something different with this movie instead of, it's not a straight up superhero movie. It's a straight up comedy. But I appreciate that they tried something different, and I'm cool with that. And I think it fit Thor. And I also like the bro comedy road trip style with Hulk. And also the best Hulk that we've had on screen. And I don't mean like Bruce Banner. I mean Hulk.
Yeah.
Like every time.
Well,
he
we
would
finally
just-
get to see Hulk that's not like hulking out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Gotta
Hulk,
calm
who
down.
actually has like a personality and like acts
Yeah.
like a really large child. Like I really enjoyed watching Mark Ruffalo do that on screen, and it was so great. I just was like, this is amazing. I also
It was
wanna
incredible.
It was incredible. I want to see more of the Hulk's relationship with Valkyrie because I thought that was one of the cutest things
Puppy
on screen.
love. It's like puppy love.
It's not like puppy love. It's
No, it's
like
not that kind of
they're
love.
best,
It's like a-
that's buds. Valkyrie
Yeah.
is definitely
It's godly
into Thor.
love.
Valkyrie and Thor is gonna be a
No, I know. I just felt
thing
like
so hard.
Thor was
What's that,
probably like,
ship name?
oh, God, a little bit.
Thor
Wait.
Curry?
I don't know. I
What you
think
talking
it-
about? Hulk and Valkyrie?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that.
I'm talking.
You're talking about Thor and Valkyrie.
Yeah.
You're talking
No,
about
no, no. I'm
Hulk
talking
and
about
Valkyrie.
Hulk and Valkyrie.
No, they're like
Because-
little like babysitter.
Oh, yeah, no,
Oh,
they're
yeah,
like a,
that's
yeah,
what
yeah,
I'm
You're talking
saying.
about the friendship.
Like I was getting like.
No,
a little
yeah, I was saying the
puppy
friendship.
love
Yeah, their
Right.
friendship is
Okay,
to
gotcha.
Valkyrie, where like
Okay.
she's like sees him as like a charge,
Yeah.
and he's like, oh my god, she's a little dreamy,
Yeah.
like a little kid.
I don't know if I got the
I
dream.
didn't
in
get that
it.
either.
I got like she's like the big sister kind of thing.
Yeah,
but
yeah, I got
except
the
she's
little big
tinier
sister.
than me.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was.
I liked how hardcore they both were, and it was great. And then when he becomes Bruce Banner again, and they're like, I feel like I know you.
Aw.
Yeah, I know. I feel the same way.
Tessa
But yeah,
Thompson was great.
yeah.
Yeah,
Thor
she's
Ragnarok
cool.
is number 5 on my list. I had a great time in the theater. Saw it twice. It was fantastic.
Me too.
Me too.
Cool.
Actually, I saw it 3 times.
I actually
For the-
paid for it. Actually paid for it twice.
Nice.
So
I saw it 3
I remember
times
those days.
actually.
For the full list of why it's not on my list, see our review that'll never come out. Colin?
Jesus.
It's supposedly coming out soon. Number 5.
My
Colin?
number 5 is Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Hey.
We kind of talked about it already, but I like that it didn't feel like the other Marvel movies. It felt like, an 80s teen movie, which was great. I like that
You like those?
That
You
was
like the
some of
80s?
the
That was the goal.
adult heroes sometimes get too mired in their personal issues, and Peter's personal issues were high school.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah,
And
this
it's
is
like-
great.
What I love about
You're
Spider-Man.
not there yet where you're dealing with, like, my parents are dead and I'm an alcoholic.
Yeah.
My
get
uncle
there,
is
maybe.
dead.
And
I'm
my
an
parents might be
alcoholic.
But they didn't even talk about that much because they didn't need to.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like this movie, it knew exactly
They
what
don't
it
need
needed
to,
to do.
Jesse.
That was such an indirect, except it was direct.
All
Thank
I'm
you,
saying, I'm just gonna say
Wait, listen,
this.
no. You guys can watch the review if you really
That's
want
true.
to.
there you
The
go.
review
Did we-
is
did we talk
on
about
the
that?
podcast.
Yes, we
Review out.
did. The
Yeah, we
argument.
put the review out.
Let's plug our
You
videos. a
shouldn't,
little
you
bit.
shouldn't have to look up other source material. in
Go
order
watch
to
the review
get
if
the
you
full
really
story.
We're
want
talking about
see.
Spider-Man or us right now.
Anyway, yeah, it's great. Tom Holland is fantastic.
Absolutely.
Michael Keaton also really good.
Mhm.
I really bought his performance as the Vulture, and like,
And also, they like took Vulture, which is a silly villain.
right,
Right.
you
As far
say
as I get
Vulture,
it,
I
and they
think,
made
all right,
him
a guy
cool.
in a bird suit, like, all right.
Supposed
Also,
He's
full
great.
circle, Michael Keaton, Birdman to Vulture.
Exactly. that was
Batman
the
to
thing.
Birdman to
Oh, there
Vulture.
we go. Sorry.
Thank you very much.
Boom.
But yeah, and like,
Live
they
yourself.
start the movie with Vulture, which was the weirdest thing when I first saw it.
But remember, I
But
explained it.
man,
I
I
explained
don't
it.
need you to explain it. It's pretty
It's
obvious.
pretty
Like,
obvious.
you need to build him up. You need to show why.
No,
he's
that's
doing
not
what
And
why.
you have to
No,
humanize
but I
him
thought
a
that the
I don't need any other reason.
No, I
That's
thought that it was
Liz
cool.
Allen.
The opening image was
You're
about
wearing,
Liz
you're
Allen.
wearing your Liz outfit cosplay, I see.
You're Liz out.
My Liz
Your Liz
outfit.
cosplay.
I was wearing this before this movie came out.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, no,
Anyway.
because the first image is Liz Allen, and then you find out later with the plot twist.
It
that
is.
It's always been about Liz.
And it was 8 years ago. Figure that one out, nerds.
We're not figuring that one out.
No one
Anyway.
cares but you.
That's
Sorry,
not true.
Lord,
That
I
is a
care.
huge thing on the internet.
We're gonna
You're the
move
only one
on.
that cares.
Literally,
Gabby.
they're releasing a timeline thing
Number
because
four.
somebody
Number
complained
four,
about
Gabby.
it. Number
Okay,
four,
my
Gabby.
number 4 is Atomic Blonde.
Woo.
I love
Alright.
the shit out of that movie.
I did not think that was gonna pop up on anybody else's list.
No, Atomic Blonde's freaking awesome. It's like girl powerlicious. It's beautifully
Got a thing?
awesome.
Girl Powerlicious. I like it.
Girlicious.
Hashtag Girl Powerlicious.
James McAvoy's in
Making
it
it a
as
thing.
like you don't know which side he's on, and it's delightful. And you think she's gonna end up with him, and then she doesn't, which makes his
Absolutely
character
not.
even better.
I know.
And like, dude, Charlize, that there was a staircase fight scene
Yeah, I've seen
that went on
that
for
scene.
forever, and it was awesome.
I looked up that clip online. That is an awesome scene.
It's an
We're talking about the fight scene.
amazing scene.
Yes.
And just, dude,
Glorious.
that movie was great. It was amazing.
Dallas, number 4.
Dallas, you got time.
Definitely my
Number
top
4 for me.
4
Oh,
for you.
The Lego Batman movie.
Yo.
Yay.
This was
Shit.
actually.
I still didn't put it on the list.
Are you
I know
serious?
I did, but we did skip past it. Remember, I was
Okay,
just like
yeah.
Lego Batman.
You don't
I can
get
talk about it now. Cool.
You don't get it.
Wait, were we supposed to do number 4?
Number
Who's
4.
this?
Number 4.
Damn it, I fucked up. Atomic Blonde is my number 3.
We're professionals.
Whoop's.
What's your number 4?
My
Well, now
number
it's your
4
number
is
4, we're
Thor
moving
3, but we'll move on
All
because
right,
we
number
already
4
talked
was
about
Thor.
Thor 3.
You don't get to
Lord.
talk about. We're skipping
I
you
was
for number
really
3.
excited about Atomic Blonde, that's why.
All right.
Jesus.
My top 3.
You were saying.
I was saying Lego Batman.
Keep
It's
saying.
freaking amazing.
It was.
It's everything I loved about the Lego movie with Batman in it. So I was like, yeah, why would I not love this movie?
Again, if you like time traveled back to a year ago and you told me, you know all these DC movies that are coming out, the Lego one might be the best out of all of them. I
No,
go,
the Lego one is just the best one with Batman in it.
yeah, I know
Lego one
because
is
Wonder
definitely my
Woman, but there's an argument to be made.
The Lego one is definitely my favorite. Like
Ah,
Will Arnett
so
is
good.
just
He's so good.
Oh
And
my
Will
God.
Arnett as the best Batman, maybe ever. Like,
No, I really like
doesn't
Ben
make
Affleck
sense.
as
I like Ben
Batman.
Affleck. I love Christian Bale, but my God, this movie was so good.
it was so good.
Your
My
number
number 4 is hi number 4. My number 4 is The Disaster Artist.
I love it.
The movie is so good.
It's
It was,
so good.
like you said, it was so weirdly inspiring.
Right.
And I think this is why Greatest Showman was on my top 10 list. I love movies about like guys who just like take a hold of their own destiny and like, I don't care, I'm gonna make my life into this. I
Yeah.
have a vision and this is what I'm gonna make my life into.
I feel like because this is Jesse's life.
It's literally like my plan in life. I'm like, I could do this. I want to do
Don't make
this.
the room.
That's why he likes La La Land so much.
Yeah, I mean, yes, that's very true actually.
I love
Don't
La La Land
make the
because it's
room.
pretty.
Listen,
Make the
though, The Room had an impact. Tommy Wiseau is now one of the most famous people on the planet,
That doesn't mean you
and
should
he
try it
might
again.
be at the Oscars this year.
Well, also I heard that he like made a second movie, and it was actually pretty good.
I heard the opposite because he tried too hard to like. He made The Room earnestly, thinking he was making a masterpiece. The second movie, he realized what his reputation was. I forgot what that one's called. It's like Spoons or something. And
Like recently that he made one.
yeah, it was like something like, or it was a miniseries. Is what he made. Something I don't know.
I don't
but
know. I heard he
he
made
was like
something
trying
recently
too
and it, like,
hard to
didn't
do what The
suck.
Room did, which is like, look, it's cheap and funny. See, and it was like, no, the reason everyone loves The Room is because
You were trying.
you
and
tried,
feel
and
that
you
we
could
were
tell
not
in the
trying.
movie that you're trying to make a good movie
And
and
it was
just
bad.
failing so hard. But to see that journey,
Room is amazing.
The Room.
I still
First of
haven't
all,
seen everyone see
Room's a
it.
masterpiece.
But I love.
I'm not watching.
I mean, spoilers
I wanna
galore. But I
see it.
love the scene at the end when he's watching the audience reaction to The Room.
Mm.
Because this whole movie, The Disaster Artist, has been
So-
about making The Room, and we finally get there. And the climax of the movie is everybody laughing at him. And just like you see it, and James Franco is probably going to win the Best Actor award.
You really think so?
I
At the
think
very least, he's winning it at the Golden Globes.
He'll get a nomination.
He's
I don't know if
definitely getting a
gonna win.
nomination. I
I,
think.
I just Oscar voters
Gary
are
Oldman?
just so.
I know.
They're also really old.
I know.
Yeah.
Still.
So we'll see.
We'll give it another 5 years.
But he's
and then
so
they'll
good
be
in it.
more
The fact that he's
done.
playing what should be a cartoon character, because Tommy Wiseau is a cartoon character. And when he first shows up and he's like, "Oh hi, Mark," and I talk like this now for the whole movie, I was like, "Why aren't you annoying?
Right?
You should be annoying." And he's not. He's this.
Probably for the same reason everybody
Sympathetic
joined
character?
together and helped him during the movie, right?
Yeah, but also Tommy Wiseau is not a sympathetic character. He's a jerk. He's
He's
horrible.
Very mean man.
And for some reason, you're still like rooting for him, even though he's like, this movie gets dark.
For the most part, I was rooting for Greg.
I was rooting for, well, yeah, because he's the good guy, and you want to root for him. Which is weird that
Dave
they're
Franco,
James
babyface.
Franco and Dave Franco are brothers, but in the movie they're not.
I love that. It was great.
It was great. I mean, the chemistry was there for sure.
Exactly.
They also don't look enough alike to.
I mean, he
pull it
definitely
off.
doesn't as Tommy Wiseau for
Exactly.
sure. But yeah, it was such a good movie.
So
I
good.
was so happy. I came out of there like with a skip in my step. I was like, I just saw a good movie about a bad movie.
About a bad movie.
Like, really bad. And I got you beat. You said you watched the movie, then left your house to go watch The Disaster Artist. I was finishing up The Room in the theater while like the
What?
popcorn commercials were playing. I was like sitting here. I'm like, I got 10 minutes left. I can make it. I can make it.
That is
First
bad.
trailer came on. I got the headphones in. I'm like turning the volume up. I can do it. And I finished it like literally right before the movie
You live dangerously, suck.
ended. Demi, what's your next Hollywood movie?
My next, because the rest of them are all
They're
Hollywood movies.
all big Hollywood movies.
They are. My number 4 is Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Woo!
We already talked a lot about it, but I'm
We
just
did.
gonna say that it's my favorite Spider-Man movie that's ever been released, and Tom Holland is actually Spider-Man, and I can't wait to see the next chapters in the Spider-Man series.
Spider-Man Prom.
I don't think that's what it's going to be called, but okay.
Spider-Man Winter Fall.
I'm looking forward to more Tom Holland playing Spider-Man. It's
Yes,
going to be
yes.
awesome.
We don't have to wait till the next Spider-Man movie for that. We just have to wait a few more months.
Yeah, but
how much is he gonna get?
I want
7
more.
minutes.
He has significant screen time in the trailer.
But I'm looking
Yeah,
forward
just the
to
trailer.
Spider-Man in a
But
Spider-Man
is he gonna be,
movie.
What am I gonna do about prom? Some old lady gave me a churro, or is he gonna be, oh no, I'm about to die?
No, I would love it if he did that and then Thanos just like obliterated half the town while he was worried about that, you know?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And don't worry about prom, your school is gone.
Your school
Your
is
school
gone.
is gone.
Half the galaxy is just destroyed.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
And if you
I
put your hand on the gauntlet,
I'm
you know,
a
it's
big fan of this Spider-Man movie. It's probably higher up on my Marvel list if I made one.
Mm.
I don't have a
Next video.
concrete one.
No.
That would be
We
forever.
can do that before.
We did that
Infinity
before
War.
Infinity War.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
I
And
won't
we'll
be here
just
for
make
that.
out a top 5.
That'll be when this video comes out, probably.
I won't be here for that. So yeah, that's my number 4. Number 4, Colin.
Cool.
Oh, hi, Colin.
Hi, Colin.
My number 4 is Raw.
Damn it!
Wow.
I wanted to see that. I'm mad at you
Wow.
for seeing
What
it
is
without
Raw?
me. So mad at you
What
for seeing
is
it
that?
without
I've
me.
never heard of
It's
it.
a horror movie, and he
Oh,
watched it
is
without
why
me.
I've never heard of
Good.
it.
Colin, go raw.
Colin doesn't watch horror
Tell us about the
movies.
movie.
That sounds.
Ooh, baby, I
Two
like
seconds.
it raw.
Oh no!
Continue, Colin. Please explain.
So well for this movie. Oh my god. Anyway, Raw is about this girl who goes to vet school and ends up becoming a cannibal. Basically,
Okay.
shorthand. But yeah,
Is that
Short
like you do?
Basically.
Yeah, as you do.
Like,
You know.
as you do.
Hate when that happens.
That's what happens when you go to vet school.
But it's like it's the only horror movie that I've watched and thoroughly enjoyed because it's not really a horror movie. Like the concepts are horrifying. Obviously, she's eating people. You know that is horrifying.
Yeah.
But
Don't do that.
it's not really about that. It's more just about her trying to figure out like who she is and what she wants. And she's really like awkward. And so the initial scenes in the school where they're like, there's like a whole hazing ritual that she has to go through, and it's like awful because she hates it. She doesn't know what's going on.
Did she eat all the bullies?
No.
You had to think about it like,
Right?
I don't.
well, no, that
You
one makes
sounded
sense.
so
I'm
disappointed.
trying to remember if she eats anyone specific, and I don't honestly think she does. Someone else in the movie does, but
Okay.
she doesn't.
Really?
I'm so
Multiple
intrigued.
cannibals in this movie?
Yeah, it's
What the
I did
hell?
know that, but I want to see this movie.
Well,
I have been wanting
it's
to
just
see
it's
it.
one of those
And
movies
it's on
where, like,
Netflix.
I only saw it once. I want to watch it again, but every once in a while I think about it, and it was just such a strange and interesting experience.
You're not down.
What?
Are you not down?
What for cannibalism?
No,
No,
to
we-
repeat the experience, Colin.
Yes,
Oh,
I want to see it again.
He is
Okay.
not.
I did not eat her.
I did not. It's bullshit. I did not. Oh, hi, Raw. Anyway, so this movie night that we've been planning, so we're doing Atomic Blonde.
I'm not watching
We're
Raw.
doing
I'm
Power
not
Rangers,
doing-
I'm not
and we're
watching
doing
Raw.
Raw.
No.
It's
We
good.
absolutely
I'm not-
cannot do raw.
I'm not
I will
watching
leave
that.
the building.
Let's just do raw and get
You
out.
should, because
So
it's
that'll be
also-
tough.
Only those two.
When the, it's
But we'll
also,
tell
I
them
feel a little
it's
bit defensive of the
Atomic
movie because
Blonde.
when it came out, people were reviewing it and saying, "Oh my god, people were fainting in the theater." I don't get why.
I'm
And
sure
it's like,
somebody.
The
fainted.
director came out
I
and was
might.
like, "That's not the movie I tried to make. Like, if you fainted, I'm sorry, that sucks." But like, I was not trying to make a movie to gross people out. That was not what she was doing. Yes, there's cannibalism. Yeah, it's gross, but she was not trying to shock with it. It was like a coming of age story
Rated.
told through the lens of a horror movie, and I thought it was really good because of that.
We're finding a pattern in Colin's favorite movies, guys.
Yeah, twisted fuck.
80s and coming of age.
80s are coming of age. All
Oh,
right.
that's what. Okay.
Top 3!
Top 3.
Okay, so I messed up.
Her third one was actually Atomic
Yeah,
Blonde.
my
Moving
third
on.
one
so
is
she's actually
Atomic
saying
Blonde.
her
Moving
fourth
on.
one.
So my
Wait, wait,
fourth
wait.
one. So okay, so I'm switching it. I did my third one already. It's because I was really excited for Atomic Blonde.
I
Okay,
don't
guys.
know why.
But
We're
my
professionals.
fourth one was Thor 3, Thor Ragnarok,
Which we've discussed.
which was like
All right.
delightful, and that's all I need to say.
Dallas.
So your top 3.
Number
My
3.
third is Thor Ragnarok. It's just so much. It's the best Thor. That's all. You just-
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
Completely.
Ragnarok. Okay, so
Did
my
you
number
ever
3.
think you were gonna like a Thor
He
movie?
didn't.
I did when I saw the trailer for this one.
Ah.
Okay.
When I saw,
No, but like
we know
before
each
that.
other. He's a friend from work. I was like, yep. This is my.
No, but like before that, like
This is
after
my-
Thor 2, if somebody had told you in 2 years you're gonna love like the next Thor.
I'm like, shut up. I'll see it. I'm definitely gonna watch it, but get out of here. I'm not gonna
Kind of
watch
like every other Marvel movie. I'm gonna see it, but
This year was so weird for movies. You could not have predicted at the beginning of this year what these lists would have looked like at the end of this year.
no.
Case in point, my number 3 is Star Wars. For the first time ever, a Star Wars movie is number 3 on my list.
Not number one.
Not number
Honestly,
1.
last time I talked to you about Star Wars, you didn't even know if you liked it.
Yeah.
So
I
was
know
I know
literally-
where it
I-
was gonna be.
That
on
was
the list.
literally like a week ago when we shot the review.
I like the movie. I have issues with the movie. I
You
don't
like it a
know.
lot.
Lord knows where I'd put it in my ranking of like all the movies. I know it's better than the prequels. As far as everything else, I don't know. So, but anyway, it is my 3rd favorite movie of this year just because it's Star Wars and I enjoyed my time in the theater.
I'll
And
talk about it
Leia's a
more.
badass.
Whoop,
Y'all
whoop.
can suck it.
All y'all.
The internet can suck it.
All y'all.
I'm Mary Poppins, y'all. Anyway, and that throne room scene is one of the best scenes in Star Wars history. Like, if it wasn't for Darth Vader in
I'm
Rogue
getting
One, this
chills
might be
thinking about
my
it.
favorite
With the
scene.
wizard chess
Yeah, no,
pieces.
no, yep.
With everything from Rey going in to see Snoke to the fight with the chess pieces.
Yeah, no, no.
The wizard
I
chess pieces.
I understand.
To the Praetorian Guard.
The Praetorian chess pieces.
To the Praetorian Guard.
Faceless.
Praetorian
I
Knights.
do.
Working for Voldemort.
Yeah,
Praetorian Guard.
Knight to eat.
Okay.
it is Praetorian. No, I'm saying Knights to the chess.
Ah.
Yeah.
Alright.
Who's Snoke? Disney. Fuck you. Me. More, please.
Yeah. So my number 3 is Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman.
It actually took me a while I had to sit there and kind of debate for a minute. I was like, okay, Spider-Man or Wonder Woman, which one of you is gonna up the other? But I chose Wonder Woman because Wonder Woman still has given me, every time I watch it, I get chills every so often. I get teary-eyed whenever the No Man Land scene comes on.
Yes.
I just felt so inspired when I came out of that theater to see such a great, one of the most iconic female superhero ever in a movie, and it's a good movie.
I would
And-
argue that other than Batman and Superman, even
One-
including Marvel, the most iconic
Yeah.
superhero.
Well, yeah.
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 So yeah, and it was so good to finally have a really great DCEU movie. Not like good by comparison to the other movies, but like actually great. Like you came out of the theater and actually enjoyed watching the movie and actually thought it was good.
Yeah.
I thought
Better
the
than
story
some Marvels.
the story is simple, but I think it's well done. The action is really great. I think Patty Jenkins did such a great job directing this film. There's a lot of good
Nomination.
directorial choices. Gal Gadot, man, I've loved her since Fast and Furious, so I was defending her from the moment she got cast, and I'm so happy that people are accepting her as Wonder Woman and are praising her as Wonder Woman, so I am proud.
Great. And I was one of the haters.
You were one of the
I
haters.
didn't think.
I would fight anybody,
I was
okay?
one of the haters.
I'll admit I was wrong. I had no faith in a supermodel that Zack Snyder cast to be in a DC movie. That just seemed like 3 bad things.
Me too. I was a hater.
Yeah.
Except that Zack Snyder has done such a great job casting the
That
DCEU.
is very true. Well, in general, he does good casting.
Most. Yeah.
For
the
the
only,
most
the
part.
only there are only
Jesse
2
Eisenberg.
people that we would possibly like.
That Zack Snyder
Debate.
cast would only be. I would only say Jesse Eisenberg.
Yeah.
Did he,
I
oh,
agree.
you know,
He
he
didn't
probably
cast
didn't
Jared
cast
Leto.
Jared Leto. You're right.
No,
I think
he
Jesse
does.
Eisenberg is the only one that.
But even
Yeah.
then, I would argue that Jesse Eisenberg probably could play a good Joker. Or
Just
sorry,
his
Lex
direction
Luthor.
I would
if
argue
the direction was
that Jared
good.
Leto could.
I would also argue that too about Jared Leto.
Yeah, I think he just went off. the
But yeah,
rails.
point is, Wonder Woman is my top, is number 3, because it was spectacular, and I came out of the movie feeling very inspired, and hopefully feeling, it was wonderful, and hopefully feeling the same way that I'll feel when I come out of Black Panther next month.
Yes.
Wonder Woman was an underdog, and there was no reason to have any faith in that movie other than the fact that the trailers were great.
Yeah, and Patty Jenkins has
And
been,
Patty Jenkins
is
was the
Oscar
director.
nominated.
It's true.
What else has she made?
Monster.
Oh shit. Well, technically
Yeah, but
Oscar
David
winner
Ayer's
because
also.
Yeah,
when
that
the-
one-
Well,
I don't know if she
When-
won the directing award for that.
no.
She didn't.
If
I don't
your
think she
film,
won, no.
no, but the film won Oscars. 'cause
Charlize
even
Theron
when you
won.
win, even
yeah,
when you win,
but
like,
I'm saying
one
that
category
she
from-
herself was
Yeah.
Oscar nominated
yes.
for Best Director, and she didn't win it.
Having Wonder Woman at home and watching the behind the scenes, you realize how much of this movie was Patty Jenkins' vision. Like to the point where she's like, "You're not going to stand that way. You're going to stand like this because this is how your character would stand. And this smoke is going to be blue, like bright, vibrant blue, because we're going to color correct it like this, and we're going to use these kind of lenses, and it's going to look good against it." I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
Sounds like
queen.
Kubrick.
kind of. I mean,
No,
honestly,
but
like,
I mean that's the thing though. That's what you do as a director. You
Yeah.
know, we're using this, we're doing this, and we're doing this because in the end, this is how it needs to look.
go rewatch the No Man scene. The smoke in the background is like this color blue. It's a bright, vibrant blue, and that's you can still see that in the movie, but you don't feel that
It's color
because of
theory.
the way she shot it. When she's on set, that's her set.
Yeah, Patty Jenkins knows what
Nice.
she's
I'm
doing.
glad.
And
Mhm.
thank God she's
That's
coming
how
back
it
for
should
Wonder
be.
Woman 2.
Freaking A, yeah. Anyway.
Number 3,
All right. My number 3 is Logan.
Logan.
Really?
Death.
Logan is on your. Am I the only one? I think I'm the only one who didn't put Logan
I
on
think
the
Yeah,
you
I
are.
think so.
I think it's because of how it made me feel while
I mean, like I
You're
said,
like,
it's the
I did
movies
not
you
enjoy
enjoyed
this.
most, and most
But
people.
it's
Yeah,
a good
that's
movie.
part of why it's so good because
Mhm.
it's not like any other superhero movie that exists. Like, yes, there is a superhero in it, but he's not even that super.
No,
not.
I
he's
would
very broken.
Argue in this movie, he's not a superhero.
No, he's
No.
broken as hell.
And that's part of what makes it so good. That we all know it's about Wolverine, but it's not anything like we've seen.
Yeah, it's about
It's about
Logan.
Logan. Even from the first shot where he just like whips out the claws and one of them's just like,
He's like,
oh, so good. I won Oscar nominations
It's
for
so
everything.
For the
No,
record,
there
I do
should've
think it's a
been
great
nominated.
movie. I just
Didn't make
No, there
sense.
should
Whatever,
have
hater.
been. I don't like this like
Just hurt you
superhero
too
movie
much.
prejudice.
I mean,
I came out of the movie like, man, I'm not exactly happy. So
I watched it twice, and I was like, the second time, I was like, why did I do that again?
Why do I do this to
What's
myself?
wrong with
No,
me?
I did that the other day. I was at home and I was like, I want to watch something. I haven't seen Logan since I bought it. Let me put that on. I was like, I made a mistake.
It gives me the feeling-
Did
when
you
I
have to
watched
see
it-
like a delightful movie afterward? Because I feel like
I think I literally turned it off and I probably put on Wonder Woman. I
That's the
think
thing,
I haven't seen that movie
Yeah.
since.
I don't
that
think I've
one.
seen
I
it
have
since it
Logan
aired.
higher on my list than
I
I
saw
do
once.
Wonder Woman, but yeah, it's just
And okay, and I saw a version that was like not fully there.
you did, yeah. I remember
Oh.
that.
But
I remember
I'm
being
not-
so mad at you for seeing it before all of us. Yeah.
Am I allowed to talk about it now?
You are now.
Now you are, yeah,
Not
this is
in
out.
detail.
Talk about
Yeah,
it,
yeah. So I saw it in a preview. Like
Screening?
the
She
movie
saw a
came
preview
out in
screening.
March, and I saw it in early December.
Nice.
Did you
Um,
insult any of the stars and/or director? Well, you
No,
did.
Jesse,
I did
that's all
not.
you, bruh.
I think
Oh, you
the
just talked
producers
about
were there, and
We're not
as
allowed
we
to
were
talk
leaving,
about
I was like, "Thank
Not
you,"
until December of next year.
and they all
Me
laughed.
and our greatest, our most anticipated.
But yeah, I saw that on the Fox Lot. It was really cool,
I mean, most of this video
with
is
no
please
special
don't end
effects. But it
You
was
mean-
so
you
good
mean-
it didn't
You mean the
need
Disney
them.
lot?
Huh? Well,
You mean the
now.
No, it's not.
With
Was it
no
the new
I
special
said
Fox
the
effects.
new Fox lot.
No, yeah, it's a new
But-
Fox.
New
lot.
Fox.
It
was
was.
keeping their lots.
It didn't need special effects. It was so good.
So yeah, Logan's number 3 on your list.
Yep.
And number 2,
Logan.
Gabby?
My number two
Number
is
two.
Coco,
Hey.
Yay.
Yay.
and I didn't think Coco would ever was gonna be on my list because I heard about it and I was like, that sounds fine. And then I showed up and I immediately cried in the movie.
You
I
were
like.
crying
I-
like the minute it
I-
Oh no, yeah.
No,
you-
I cried immediately. Mostly because I didn't realize how badly I wanted to see a movie like this until it was in front of me. Like it's almost like you're thirsty until or you don't know how thirsty you are until somebody asks if you want some water. Like
Why?
Y'all are terrible.
Why?
It's terrible.
we didn't say anything. Nobody said a thing.
Y'all are so
said it.
rude.
No one said anything. I'm actually proud of us for not saying anything.
Y'all are so
Yeah, we go
No.
talk about your thirst.
Talk about no.
Y'all are so
Tell the internet how thirsty you were.
Y'all are so mean.
Hey,
Anything
hey,
else
hey.
to say about Coco? Do you?
Yes, it was beautiful. It perfectly captured like
Oh,
my
God.
culture, but also I like
Almost
that
to the
it was.
point of like.
Jump right on her sentence.
no, I was just saying, like, because you say a person captured culture, I was like, almost to the point of stereotyping.
But it
but
wasn't
not-
because
it
it was
just-
about a
yeah.
specific family. That's also what made it like not quite like. Basically, Disney treated like this culture not so much as a culture, but like they were like, we're gonna do a story about a specific family, and we're gonna go from there. And that's that. I think that's part of also why it was so amazing and beautiful and just
I even love the fact that the title of the movie is Coco.
yeah.
Like, that to me
Well,
is
they were
great.
gonna call it Dia de Muertos, and then
Yeah, no,
the
Coco was
Latino
a
community
perfect
was
title.
like, you better not trademark that. But basically, I'm glad that it was made. It was a really nice movie, and like.
And I was going to make fun of you for what Colin just said, that you were crying as soon as the movie started. Because I was
But
gonna
I
be like, you were
was.
crying from the opening logo, but then I remembered how great the opening logo is.
Yeah,
When, like, you started out, it was like the music, and it was like the
Yeah.
mariachi music playing
it
in the
was
background.
beautiful.
Because I was the same way. I was like, I'm already in love with this movie, and it's literally the Disney logo. Nothing
Yeah.
else has
No,
happened.
I know.
We're just looking at a castle right now.
It was what I wanted, but I
Mhm.
didn't know that I wanted this until I was sitting in the theater
Dallas,
and like
you need to go see
watching it.
Coco.
You
It
do
was-
need to see Coco.
Yeah.
Oh,
And,
and
it
then
was also it was visually like Pixar's best work
freaking-
yet.
yeah.
They were just showing off, and it was amazing.
Well, I'll say this is probably the best looking humans they've ever done. Because
Yeah.
they don't usually specialize in those.
Yeah, no, they don't. But they
They're-
did an excellent job. Like just
You can see the
that,
texture and the
the
skin.
music, the songs
Dimple,
were
no
like
dimple.
awesome, and I've heard them in Spanish and in English. Arguably, I would argue this movie's probably even better in Spanish. I haven't seen it in Spanish yet, but I
There-
know the
there
songs
were
are way
Depends
better
on,
in
it
Spanish.
depends on the song.
There were theaters that were playing it in Spanish.
Yeah, I know. I
Yes.
just didn't meander over there.
Yeah.
But I've read reviews of the version in Spanish,
Meander.
and it's like basically the movie's better in Spanish.
I like that the three of us all went meander.
Meander. Ah.
Good word.
That
Very
is
good
that them SAT
Word
words
of the
right
day.
there.
Meander over.
$3 words.
Meander.
Yeah, Coco. I love the shit out of that movie, but it's not my most favorite,
Love
but
the
it's
Nieto out of that
definitely
movie.
We're on number 2, right?
Yeah.
I'm definitely.
Speaking of shit.
We've reached number 2.
Made it.
Dallas,
Made it.
number 2.
My number 2 is
Numero dos.
it is Get Out.
I don't know.
Like it's honestly, I'm gonna say I gotta say it's my favorite horror movie, like that I've ever seen.
But you don't like
And
horror as a rule,
I
right?
didn't
No.
used to.
Okay.
Like I recently started watching a lot more, and somebody asked me around the time this movie came out, like, "Do you watch movies? Like, what are your favorites?" And I think it's like Psycho and Get Out. So it's like
Yeah.
1960 and like 2017.
I mean, but Psycho is.
Psycho's really good.
It's
Amazing.
iconic.
So it's like everything in between was like
Even
cool,
I like
but,
Psycho.
Man,
TV show, the prequel TV show was damn good too.
Eventually, I'll
amazing.
watch it.
one day
Also,
we'll talk
like-
about that.
One day.
Jordan Peele.
Jordan Peele.
Yeah.
One day.
Jordan Peele, like, he talked about how he's like obsessed with like horror. Like
Oh, yeah,
he and
he
his friends
loves
would go
horror
down to
movies.
Blockbuster and just rent as much horror as they could.
I'm
So he's
glad.
arguably like an expert on it as well. So like
Yeah.
it makes sense that he would make a,
A
horror
great horror movie.
masterpiece.
And it's just like everything in it. Like there's a video of him just going down like fan theories. I think on Reddit. Or
Oh
something.
yeah,
And he's
it's
explaining,
great.
and like when he talks about it, it's just like the subtlety in some of these things is just so good, and it's like honestly, I don't know what he's gonna do next. I've heard like
Twilight
about
Zone.
Twilight
different
Zone, I
things.
think, is
Twilight
the next
Zone
thing.
too.
He's
to
not
happen.
doing Akira anymore, right?
No, he never was doing Akira.
That
They were
movie
in
is
talks
in
with-
development
Okay.
now,
I would be
think.
down to watch another.
He's also doing a movie with Spike Lee.
Although I'm
I think
a
they're
little bit
producing
I
afraid.
think
something
he is
together.
something
I
about
didn't really
like
understand
an
that
undercover.
Oh no, no.
Linesman or
Okay,
something.
but where's my Keanu sequel?
Yes.
Yeah, were they,
Oh, yeah,
are
there
they the
needs
ones
to
who
be
are
a
doing
Keanu.
No, I was
the
kidding. There does
alternate,
not need to be a Keanu sequel.
I don't know.
That was the cutest kitten I've ever seen.
I think him and Spike Lee are doing an alternate history, like TV
Oh
series or
yes,
something
I
like
heard about that.
Oh,
But I did hear something that he said about I can't remember the way he phrased it, that he wants to make more movies about like this group, basically evil white people.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Well, also
Jordan
social
Peele's
commentary
on
horror.
my way, like he's on his way to possibly becoming one of my favorite directors.
Nice.
If he continues down this road, like give me one more Get Out level movie and you're up there.
I mean,
Because
pressure
it's
is
just-
on now. 'Cause
Oh,
you
definitely.
came
Oh,
out
it's
of the
on.
gate
Pressure's on.
swinging, so now you gotta
This-
step it up.
it was
But
just
the
so,
start
thing is, I
mid-level.
think he can do it. Like I
definitely.
Mhm.
definitely think.
And it's just like, and it had Keith Stanfield from
Ah,
Atlanta, which is like,
love him.
Oh
I
yeah,
love it
he's
by
great.
default. It had
By
Redbone by Childish Gambino
Oh,
in
yeah.
the opening. I was like,
It did.
this movie wants me to love it, yeah. And like, the best thing.
You know he got
That's the kind of
permission
movie.
through Keith Stanfield. He was like,
Of course.
yo, so
Yeah,
like,
yo,
can
talk
you
to your
pull
boy
up-
Donald.
Can you
Let
give
me see if we
me
can use this song
Donald's
real
number?
But it's like that's the kind of movie you have to watch with a crowd, because like every stereotype
Or
of
people who
black
don't know the
people
twist is
in
coming.
a horror movie.
Listen, you guys
Like-
had a fun time watching that with me. You guys.
We
have-
thought the twist was coming.
Spoiler alert. That last scene when the TSA car pulls up.
Oh
when
my
the door
gosh,
opens,
yes.
everyone in the crowd is
He's-
cheering.
Yep.
Oh my
No,
God,
no.
it's right.
Everyone thinks he's about to die.
Yes.
That's what it was.
Everybody's like,
This is how the
no,
movie
here's the
ends.
thing. The siren, like the car
The car-
showed
yeah,
up. Everyone in the audience was like, no.
Mhm.
And then the door opens and everybody's like,
Yes.
yes. It's
Wait,
like,
originally,
Didn't Jordan Peele say he was gonna have him like stop by?
No,
He
yes,
was,
he
yes,
was.
that
That
was
was the
the
original.
everybody was like, no.
well, no,
Don't do
he
that.
because he wrote that movie before all the stuff started coming out in the news, and before he was gonna. This was like telling the story to people who otherwise wouldn't have heard the story.
Yeah.
Or realized that racism was still abundant
Before
in
it
America.
became like,
Yeah.
But
And
by the
now-
time the movie came out, it was like, no, everybody
Now
knew
it's a
already.
thing
Everybody was
we're
hearing. So he was
putting
like,
it
okay,
for
we
you.
don't need to end it on such a dour note because they get it. They're seeing it every day. Let's give it a happy ending and throw in the TS motherfucking A line in there, which is probably my favorite line in the movie.
I'm wondering if Jordan Peele. I feel like that was just Lil Rel improvising.
probably.
It
I
was,
feel like,
okay.
I feel like it definitely was.
Anyone who owns Get Out, and if you don't go buy it, watch the deleted scenes.
Oh yeah, you
Because
watched
the
it as
deleted
soon as we
scenes,
finished.
oh my god, were so good.
Let me go buy
Because
it.
literally that line, when they're in the car and like, how'd you find me? So much.
He
Just,
does a lot-
there's so many
yes,
scenes
I
of him
love-
just doing a
I
different
love
line.
scenes like that.
I don't even want
Oh.
to say what half of them were, but
Oh, I'm gonna
I
watch
love
it.
He did- he had a
we were
number
dying.
of-
We were
I
laughing
love
so
it when
hard.
they do that. They would do that really well in Parks and Rec. That's so.
Anyway, Get Out is not a comedy.
It is not.
No,
It is
no.
not.
But it
But
has
Nah,
funny moments.
Bullshit.
the moments in it, and this is what I love about some horror movies when they work comedy in.
Mhm.
Sometimes it just feels like, oh, let's make it a little like this was legitimately hilarious
It
stuff,
was.
and it was just
And it
like,
fit.
yeah,
It didn't
and
feel
fit,
like
and
it was
felt
forced in.
real, like the
Mhm.
way he's talking about the older black people who are really white people.
Yeah.
And like,
What did he say?
it's just like
Yes, Dallas enthrall us with these.
You need to
it's
watch
like-
the movie.
Yeah, just watch the movie.
We're gonna have a date. We're watching.
We are
the
gonna,
We are,
we're
we're
gonna
gonna
have to
watch-
watch this movie.
Okay,
Get
but
Out,
I
Power
can
Rangers,
only see
Atomic
it
Blonde,
if
and Raw.
Eric's there
No, no.
because
That's
if I watch
fine.
a scary movie without him, he'll never forgive me. Because he's been trying to get me.
That's
to
why I
do
said
That's
that.
how I felt when Colin watched Raw, to be honest.
I'd same.
Well, like,
Not forgiving you for that one.
To be fair, Get Out is a horror in a whole totally different
It
sense
is.
of
Totally
And it's
horror.
also not that scary.
It's not scary, but it's
Not
horrifying.
at least not in terms.
It's
Right.
scary in a different way.
In a different way,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's like-
not. Nothing's jumping out at you. You're not.
As
you
a
know.
black person living in America, this is terrible.
That was terrifying. So Jesse, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is a movie none of us have talked about yet. Spider-Man: Homecoming. Now this was number 1 for a long time, but the movie that is my number 1 just kept. It was like fighting, and that movie started up here, and
I
it
know what it
kept
is.
going. I think you definitely know what it is. My number 1 just kept going down the list, and now it's number 1. I was just like, yeah. When it came down to this, doing this video, I was like, I'm sorry, Spider-Man. I'm
just
sorry.
talked about
Come
your
on,
number one.
Spider-Man. None of I know you got
Wait,
fast.
I-
Anyway, we're not
Anyway, we're not talking about number 1.
that.
We're talking about Spider-Man.
You're
So
right.
it's number 2
Go
now,
for it,
and it's great. We've all mentioned how great it is. Michael Keaton's great. Tom Holland's great. I might still like Spider-Man 2 more. I don't know yet.
you
The
love
Tobey
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man 2 is a great movie. Tobey Maguire's
Jesse-
Spider-Man 2.
Jesse loves Spider-Man 2.
It's a great
I don't
movie.
remember.
He,
much of
I
that movie.
was hanging out with him once, and he like went on a long monologue about why
The
Spider-Man.
train scene, still one of the greatest action scenes ever
And
put
he
in a movie.
sat there and made me
Thank
watch
you.
Oh
the,
my God,
the
that train
actual
scene.
scene.
I did.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
made
you
me
did.
watch
I
it.
did.
You do that.
It was great, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's a
I
fantastic
mean,
scene.
without context, sure. It was.
Great.
I need to see the movie.
One of the greatest action sequences ever put to film.
A lot of people do.
I don't.
I just.
do. On
I own
DVD.
Spider-Man: Homecoming.
When it came out, I was dependent on
I
my
own the
parents
first
going
two
to
on
films,
DVD.
and
Mhm.
sometimes they didn't like going to movies.
You know how I know I have the second one? We bought it from Blockbuster.
Oh, rest in
Ooh.
peace, Blockbuster. There's,
Shout out to
there's
that
still like
movie,
11 Blockbusters left
Listen,
in like
I
rural
have
America.
A copy of Rise of the Planet of the Apes from Blockbuster. That's how recently I was able to
Blockbuster
go to
died.
Blockbuster. Yeah.
It's funny that you brought up that train scene because I can never look at it the same way because
Because Tobey Maguire looks like a
Oh,
30-year-old
yeah.
man.
He's also doing this.
They say he's just a kid, and it's like, is he
He's
though?
older.
Are you sure though?
He's older
He's
than
your
me.
age, sir.
Also, it is older. It's an older movie than we thought because not everybody had one of these in their pocket.
Yeah.
Because
yeah,
that
so
scene
no.
could not exist today.
No,
Oh, yeah.
wouldn't.
'Cause I remember,
Somebody
like,
would definitely have
We
their
won't
phone
tell
out.
nobody.
I got a picture of Spider-Man.
He's just
That,
a kid.
that wasn't my Tommy
J.
Why
Wiseau.
not?
Jonah,
He's not.
J. Jonah Jameson.
Right?
Picture.
I need pictures of Spider-Man. Literally everyone.
Everyone.
Just
Everybody's
Got
just
it.
tweeting them.
right.
That's exactly why they got to rework the whole Spider-Man angle in Spider-Man
They do.
Homecoming.
That's why I love the whole like Tony Stark fandom on YouTube.
Yeah.
He would definitely be on YouTube. You're that Spider guy from YouTube.
Do a flip.
Yeah.
All right.
Also, nobody mentioned Miles Morales.
Oh
For
my
all
god.
the time we were talking about Spider-Man.
Because we
Homecoming.
talked about him a lot in the
already
review.
We
talked
did,
about
we
it
did,
so
but-
There's
much.
literally nothing more that we
We're-
need to see about Homecoming because it's all in a 40-minute review on this channel.
Listen,
if you really
it
want
was
to
worth
watch
it.
it.
We're gonna put
Great
it like
movie.
right here.
I'm
somewhere.
right. I'm gonna put.
Also,
Just over my face.
Spider-Man was my favorite hero as a kid. And then I got older. But Spider-Man was my favorite as a kid.
Okay.
Yeah.
He was also my favorite as a kid. I don't have a
Also,
Deadpool here.
Stroke the Spider-Man. Stroke the Spider-Man.
Oh,
Okay, stop. To me, what's your top?
Come on,
two?
Spider-Man.
Top
Yeah. So my number 2 is actually Star Wars Episode 8: The Last Jedi.
Number 2.
What? What's your
I'm
number
proud of
one
you.
then? What?
She'll
That's
get
my
there.
Proud
That's
of
my
you.
number 2.
All right.
It's
I
my-
think everyone's number one's gonna be a big surprise then. If-
Right?
It's-
No, mine was a surprise
Not
to
mine.
me.
He was not
Yeah,
surprised by
it's my number 2. And I know I'm slightly shocked too. Usually I'd be wearing a Star Wars shirt. I'm not even wearing a Star Wars shirt today.
Is
What are
that
you wearing
why?
today? I don't understand the shirt.
I'll explain later because
It's a movie
it'll
channel.
come up later in my most anticipated. But yeah, so I really love that movie. It's probably my second favorite Star Wars movie that's ever been released.
Okay.
I think it has
What
such.
is your number one? Because every time
Hey,
I ask
hey,
you,
hey,
you
I,
get
hey,
it's the
hey.
same answer every time. I keep telling you, it's The Force Awakens and tied with A
Oh,
New
you meant
Hope.
this year.
I'm just trying to get you to like definitively.
Oh
pick
my gosh,
one.
that definitively is my favorite.
All right.
So anyway, The Last Jedi, it's just, I think it has really great themes. I think it's got a good story. And I think that it follows through on I think Rian Johnson follows through on his vision incredibly well. I like that all the characters are fleshed out. Or at least most of them, all the ones that we've met before are fleshed out and are
Like Snoke.
fully human. The main people.
Mhm.
Anyway. So yeah, and it's got some really epic moments. It's got a lot of really great Star Warsy moments.
For sure.
And that's what I want, but it's also really unexpected, and that's also what I want from Star Wars, starting like with this generation. I want us to go further and to expand, and I think that this movie does that. So it's number 2 on my list. When we get to my number 1, I'll explain why that one ended up being my number 1, because it's got a very specific reason as to why.
All right.
Colin, number
What's your
2.
number 2?
My number 2 is Wonder Woman.
Hey!
wow.
Hey!
I didn't expect that.
Right?
I think your whole list has been a
I saw
delightful
that movie
surprise.
3 times in 1 week.
He
Oh my
did.
God.
I
No.
remember that.
Wait a minute. I did too. I think 2 of my times were with
2
you.
were with me, I
Yeah.
think.
We
And then the
both saw-
first time was with us,
Yeah.
because Colin didn't go with us the first time.
That's right, I did.
He was at
Oh
work.
yeah, we
Yeah.
came out of there and like
And
gushed
the
about
other
it
2
to
times,
you.
yeah, we both saw it 3 times in a week. And I remember the 3rd time I was like, I want to see Guardians. And then you were like, no.
No.
See Wonder Woman. And Andrew was there, and he's a freaking DC fanboy. Freaking Andrew. So he was like, yeah, so it's Wonder Woman. DC, yeah. So we ended up watching Wonder Woman.
So Wonder Woman.
Wonder
Yeah.
Woman, number 2.
Number two.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear what number 1 is.
It's fantastic.
I think
I
I
mean,
did.
mainly for what you said, that like,
Oh, I know.
I came out of that movie like wanting to punch somebody. Like, it's just such an intense, good movie. Just
I'm
makes
inspired,
you feel
is what he's saying.
good.
I've never heard Colin react to anything that way.
Right?
You know, we just wanting to fight.
Fight.
Like, Colin?
He wants to fight the
honestly,
man.
You watch like the No Man's Land sequence, and yeah, you want to fight somebody.
And
like,
DC, the fact that you guys wanted to cut that scene out of the movie
I don't
is
understand
ridiculous.
that, right? No, really?
Oh my
Really
gosh.
weird.
I feel like they didn't cut it because of audience.
No,
They
they
didn't
didn't
cut it
cut it
'cause
because
Patty
Patty
Jenkins put her
Jenkins
foot
said
down.
no.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You're not.
Like, you ain't cutting this.
If that
I spent so
hadn't
much
been
money
a
on Blue
movie-
Smoke.
Oh my gosh, if that hadn't been in the movie, I don't
It's
know.
not. It's a different movie. We do not come out of that movie with the same impact.
No.
if
To
that
punch
scene's not
somebody.
in it.
No
Yeah.
Man's
No.
Land is just like one of the most cinematic, iconic moments.
It will go down in
Ever.
history as one of the
Like-
most iconic moments in film.
Oh my gosh, it's
Yeah.
wonderful, and they literally. I didn't try, and, and they literally tried to cut it out. DC was like, "Nah, let's cut it out." And it was
Why?
like,
I don't
Because they're DC.
because they're
and they suck.
DC, and that's what they do. That's why Wonder Woman's the best movie.
This is
because-
why you're number 2 DC and not number 1.
Are they
Damn.
number 2? They might be number 3. Although Disney now owns Fox, so maybe they are number 2.
Now they're the only game left, so by default they're
Yeah,
number
and
2.
Disney will probably eventually buy them and make better movies. So,
Yeah, if DC has learned anything, it's don't start with Civil War.
yeah.
Especially when your Civil War isn't as good.
No. it's
Damn.
not.
Well,
Mic drop.
if they'd started with Civil War, maybe.
No, because Civil War wouldn't have been Civil War if they had started with it.
Yeah.
You needed to start with Iron Man and then build to Civil War.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need to be emotionally attached to these characters for the films, not just the comic books.
Although the funny thing about that is my two favorite characters from Civil War were not established before Civil War. Because Black Panther and Spider-Man were
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
This was the
Were.
first time I'd
I
seen them, and I didn't
think
even
part
care.
of the reason is because they were new, and they had, you didn't know what to expect from them. Whereas Iron Man, Captain America, you've been watching them for so long, it's a little bit, it's old hat. You know what to expect. You
They
know
also-
But you want
I
to
think-
watch those people fight. You don't want to watch
Right.
the new
I get what
people
you're
fight.
saying. Like, a lot of it is because they're new. For me, though, it's because of Spider-Man and Black Panther. Like,
But they also weren't the movie. It wasn't called Black Panther Civil War or Spider-Man Civil
yeah,
War.
it might as well have been. For me, that was
I think
Black Panther
had you
Civil War.
done it that way, wouldn't it work? Like it's just like Iron Man versus a guy you're gonna meet in this movie. Like no, that doesn't
Nah, it
work.
doesn't work.
Fair.
Anyway,
Anyway, yeah.
Wonder Woman.
is
Wonder
amazing.
Woman.
Wonder Woman.
Civil War's better.
Well, yes.
I'm sorry. I felt like that was like what we had
just cooking
established.
to
I
Civil
didn't mean
War. Sorry, we didn't get to
I
do
didn't mean to
this.
rain
for-
on your.
All right,
your parade.
and now we have reached number 1.
I cannot wait. It's gonna be the most exciting round of this whole thing because I
Mine
have
is
no
gonna
idea.
be-
I know what yours
I
is.
think I know
have
yours
no
and
idea what
yours.
anyone else is. I know.
Wait,
I
you know
I
what
think I know
hers
what
is?
hers is. Yeah.
You should know because I told you last week.
Doesn't
when
matter
were
what we
doing
know.
Yeah,
it.
then
We're
there
about
you
to
go.
find
Okay.
out. We'll make it a
Let's
video.
find out. But
I-
yes,
Mine might be weird. And
What's
then
yours?
I can't believe we all have
Say it.
different number
My
ones.
number 1 movie is The Big Sick. I love
Oh,
I
yeah.
wanted to
Nice.
see
You
it.
told us.
I told you all. Well, I made you come with me to see it.
You did.
I legitimately tried to see it before making this list for this video because I feel like it's gonna be on
That's
there.
why I watched
but
Girls Trip last night to make sure. it
yeah,
wasn't gonna
right.
be
To
on my
catch
top
up on the
10.
movies you missed.
Yeah.
Pretty good
Yeah,
job.
I should have given you my Prime password.
You should have. You did
Oh
it.
well.
And now here we are.
But the Big Sick.
The Big Sick. So I also saw The Big Sick in a preview. I saw it in 2016 before anybody else did. But
Well,
it was.
Hey, we've seen movies and previews. We just can't talk about them.
We
It
just
was
can't talk
yeah,
about it
no,
right
we
now.
can't talk about those.
Should we, like,
But it was just
We're going for it.
so when I heard about the preview, all it said was like from the producer, from like the producers of Knocked Up, and I was like, Judd Apatow's involved. I'm down. And like I went on a whim. I hadn't heard anything about it. I didn't even know it was a true story. And I was like, this is an excellent modern love story that it just completely caught me off guard. It's a it's a biracial like love story, and it
Interracial.
interracial. Thank you. It's an interracial love story,
Racial.
and it covers everything, and it also hit me to home because, like, you know, I'm from a Latino family, and I date people outside of my race, so it hit home there with, like, cultures clashing, and it also, like, it was just well done and just, like, unexpected and great writing, a great chemistry between the two leads.
Yeah,
And, I mean, I was a fan of Kumail Nanjiani going in,
It's
and
finished.
it just, such a good movie. And it hits you, like, in the heart. It has some good jokes. It was just
Wow.
well executed, well done. Good job on the script. I hope it gets nominated for Best Original Screenplay.
So many movies we've been like, I hope it gets nominated for this, and I hope it gets nominated for that.
But I feel like The Big Sick has a chance. It was snubbed
Maybe.
by the Golden Globes, but I feel like it won't be snubbed by the Oscars.
That was the most silent we've been because nobody else has
Because
seen
no
the
one else
movie.
has
I mean,
seen
I saw
it.
it.
Oh, did you see it?
So
Oh,
you
you
did?
did?
I saw it with her.
Y'all talk.
I don't have anything
It's
to say
been
about
my
it.
favorite, and
Good.
also I know it's my favorite because I've seen it like 4 times.
Wow.
And I saw it twice in the theater. I've seen it like whenever I'm bored at home. I watch it on Amazon, so it's definitely my favorite. What did you think, Colin?
This is not a movie review.
Oh,
This is
sorry.
just-
What did you think, Colin?
Or say something. I don't know.
I mean,
No, I
it's-
think you did it justice.
You did
But,
it.
you
Thanks,
know, you
okay.
want to give your thoughts? Give your thoughts.
What's your name?
it was fine. I enjoyed it. There was nothing about it I disliked, but it didn't
wow him.
affect me. Like I didn't walk out of it going, "Oh man, that was."
Didn't make you want to punch anybody.
No,
Exactly.
a few movies do though, so that's not.
Yeah.
Just Wonder
Sorry,
Woman.
And if this one had made me want to punch somebody, it would have been really weird.
It would have been
So-
disconcerting.
That's true.
The Big Sick or The Big Short? Which one's
Haven't
better?
seen The Big Short.
God damn it.
The Big Short.
It's on
Big
Netflix.
Short? Okay.
I love The Big Short.
I think you're the only one here who saw both. Seen Big
No,
Short.
I've seen both of them.
Have you seen both? So Big Short or Big Sick?
Big Sick.
She just spent the
I
last
just
5
said
minutes
it's
talking
so
about
fun
Big
there.
Sick.
Number one of the year. What do you think?
I don't know what she thought about The Big Short.
That's true.
Right.
Dallas, you're number 1.
What is your number one? That's a good movie.
Spider-Man.
Yo!
Yes.
I forgot
I
you
thought
had
I
said
caught
that.
it. Yeah, I thought you had said
Yeah,
it
I
already,
said
but
it.
yeah.
When you said nobody talked about Miles, I was like, I haven't gotten to one.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But Miles Morales. I think we said everything else. I just want to add Donald freaking Glover.
Donald
Yay.
Is
Glover.
one of my favorite people in probably every realm of entertainment.
That's the
Music,
thing, yeah.
acting,
He's in every
writing,
realm, yeah.
comedy. He's great. And just like the couple of scenes that he's in, oh my god, they're
I like
so
that.
good. They're so funny. The deleted scenes.
I was going to say the deleted scenes.
The deleted
Arguably,
scenes.
his best
The
moment isn't in the movie, which is the human
It's
being
one of-
needs help.
yeah.
That I died.
Have you guys seen it?
Sorry.
I
No.
haven't seen it.
I haven't
but
seen the
want
deleted
to.
scenes. I have
You
the
go, you
DVD
describe it.
though.
I'm just gonna. I kind of just.
Don't ruin it for
I
me.
don't want to ruin it. I'm just
Okay,
gonna
fine.
explain that it picks up right after Spidey
He's
sticks into his car.
He's still
Oh,
stuck
nice.
to
He
the
still
car.
stuck to the car. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, and
It's
so
amazing.
good.
Like Donald Glover in Spider-Man is better than a lot of 2017 movies to me. So
I'm just trying to stick somebody up. I'm not trying to
I'm
shoot
trying to-
them back in time.
like after I saw this, everything else was fighting for second place, and I was like, what's
Mhm.
gonna be the other 9 top? 2?
I was almost there with you, man.
Yeah.
Until
and I know what yours is.
Until.
So that's,
So what's your number 1?
listen
Until-
again.
did I see this with you twice?
Spider-Man? Oh,
No,
this might.
yours.
I think so.
I think we did.
I
What
saw
is
it
your
a
number
lot of
1?
Alright, go for it.
Going back to no one could have predicted this. I never would have thought this movie is going to be over Star Wars or Spider-Man in my book. And going back to what you said about how this
Oh
year
my
for
God,
horror
Jesse.
has been
Just built-
incredible.
Oh my
I'm
God!
letting it stand. God
Let
damn
them
it,
build
let
it
me
up.
talk.
Oh, I know what it is.
It was a great movie. I
know
loved
what
it.
Okay.
It was fantastic.
All right, I get it.
I know what it is.
What did we get?
What is it?
It was it.
It was it.
Hey!
It's my favorite movie.
It-
It surprised me because I was
Also,
re-going
surprised it
over
wasn't
my
on your
list.
It was on there for a bit.
Yesterday, I was re-going over my list.
Yeah, going
re-going
over
over
it.
my
Going
list
over it
again.
again?
Sure, checking it twice. And
Then
then,
find out who's not on your list.
thank you to me.
Gotcha.
And I was just like, I gotta move it down a little bit. So I moved it down. I was like at number 2, and I was like, I'll move it down a little bit. And I was at number 1. I was like, did I like it more than Spider-Man? And I just had like this internal conflict. I was like, yeah, I think I liked it more than Spider-Man. It
Yes.
was so good.
Was it? So
Yes.
we were in the car the other day, and I know, like, you just kept going on and on about those
Oh, because you were saying you were like attracted to him, and I was just judging you.
Because
he's
That's
attractive.
Right?
He's
Thank you.
attractive!
He's terrified
No.
looking.
No.
He looks like Pennywise
on
the
the
Clown.
list of people who I look at you and it's like, oh, I need to run away now.
But
Right?
he's not
Like, I need to
attractive
go.
as Pennywise. He's just attractive.
Well, some people
No,
think
he's
he's attractive.
attractive.
Anyway,
I think
so.
he's very
But the
attractive.
thing is, like,
I
his
find him more
eyeballs are shaped
attractive-
like evil.
No, I think he's
He
attractive
is the
outside
face
of
of fear.
Pennywise. He's not the
Huh?
most attractive Skarsgård brother.
See, I
See,
find
that's-
him more
Well,
attractive
I
than
mean,
Alexander.
Come on.
Alex Skarsgård is your brother, and
Comparatively.
you're not gonna be number
Stellan,
one.
though.
No, I'm sorry.
Hey.
That's not a
No.
Skarsgård brother.
Anyway, everything
I'm
in
sorry.
it was done perfectly. The acting, the writing, the comedy, the scares. While not the scariest scares you've ever seen in your life, a lot of people complain about. They were well done. There was the projector scene. Oh my god, that was great. Bill Skarsgård's ugly face, but his performance is great, and he can move his eyeball like that, like the way Pennywise does. He does it by
Horrifying.
himself. He's horrifying. He's a horrifying human being.
He's a
Gabby,
chameleon
do
man.
better.
I think he's very handsome.
I think
Also-
it's handsome. I agree with Gabby.
Yep. This movie still has my favorite line of the year. Which is-
Just it.
I have to like describe it for people who haven't seen it, but it was like the kids go down to Pennywise's lair, right? And Pennywise grabs the main kid, and he basically tells the kids, "Listen, I'm gonna eat you all. I'm gonna kill you all. Yada yada yada. Or you leave me alone. I'll take him, the main kid, and I'll slink away, and you won't see me again for 29 years.
27.
Sure, however long he goes away. I'll go back for my long rest, and you guys can all live
Some
long
strange
old
number
lives."
in the 20s.
Yeah. And they're actually considering it like we're either all gonna die or we just let him die and we all live, you know, until he, at least
And
until
it's his
Pennywise.
fault that they're all down there.
It is his fault that they're all down there. And then Richie, who's the main kid from Stranger Things, who has just been
Finn
against
Wolfhard.
it, that dude is talented. Because this is not the same character. It's a completely different character. He pulls them both off. But he's been against this whole Pennywise crusade from the beginning, and he tells him, "I told you, Bill. I told you I didn't want to do this. I don't want to die. You dragged me through shitty water. You brought me to a crackhead house. You punched me in the face. And now," and he reaches into this pile of like the discarded toys from Pennywise's past victims that's right there next to him, pulls out a baseball bat and goes, "I'm going to have to kill this fucking clown." Lifts the baseball bat and goes, "Welcome to the Losers Club, asshole," and just starts beating the crap
That's
out of
amazing.
Pennywise. I literally, like, I was like this. Like, I didn't stand up all the way, but I was like,
Oh yeah, we all.
It was like, it's such a powerful moment, and it's coming from this smart-ass little kid to a clown.
I don't want to watch
It's-
this movie, but now I just want to watch that scene.
It's
I just want to see Finn say that line,
Good.
to be honest.
Also,
my
one
favorite
scene-
line of the year.
One scene you won't want to watch is actually
The opening scene?
I think. No, God, don't talk about that.
So I assume, yes, that too.
The reason I actually saw this movie again was
Oh,
library.
the
scene.
library.
Oh
sir.
my god.
The librarian.
Yes.
Oh.
This movie is so good, and it's another one with like just like subtlety, guys. If you just do something
Mhm.
subtly, like
There's so many things in the background of this movie that you're not going to catch.
yeah, it's the
first.
kind of thing like some people might not even see it, but the people who do are gonna be like, oh my god.
Yeah.
And that was me. The first time I didn't see it, and then the second time, I was just like,
Should we tell him what it is?
yes.
So this kid's reading a book in a library, and the first time you watch it, it's just an exposition scene of this kid reading a book. What you notice the second time is every time we cut back to the kid's face, behind him, out of focus, the librarian is just looking at him like this, and it's just horrifying because her face is out of focus and her mouth may or may not be distorted in a weird way. It's kind of hard
Yeah,
to tell.
it's like, ugh.
And like every time they cut back, she's a little
Because
bit closer.
She's putting books away, like in a shelf.
Yeah.
And he looks at the book. Camera cuts back to him. She stops. She turns toward
In
the
a
camera.
creepy, weird way.
She
too.
turns
the way
toward the
she
camera
turns.
and just leans forward like this, and you can see that she's smiling through the
But it's horrifying.
out of focus. And it cuts back to the book. And
No,
like there's
no, I'm not
horrifying
watching
music.
this movie.
Cuts back
But
to
it's
the
like,
book.
but that's you don't even see that.
But wait, it cuts back
I
to
will
him.
now.
Yeah, you will,
I'm
yeah.
Every
gonna see
time
it.
it cuts back to him, she's closer.
Mm-hmm.
And she's just like, she turns like this, and then the last time, she's back.
She's back to putting the books away. You're like,
She's back to
what?
doing the books. And it's
And
like,
then she like turns into a balloon, maybe? I don't know. It's so weird.
and then it's just like, and that's the kind of thing that somebody brought it up to me, and I was like, I didn't see that at all.
Right, yeah.
And then I went in and I saw it, and I was like, oh my god, it's the scariest thing in the movie.
Right?
And nothing
Like-
happens from it. Like, she doesn't attack him.
So it was just Pennywise fucking with the kid, kind of. More
Kind of.
like
Everything in the
fucking
movie
with
is,
audience.
yeah. But yeah, exactly. 'Cause the kid doesn't even see it. So it's a scare for
Just for the
anyone
audience.
who's unlucky enough to be looking in the
Which
background.
normally annoys me in horror movies. Like, I hate when they do that.
Just for the audience?
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
that's stupid, but that one worked.
It was,
Oh, well.
Oh my god.
And then the ending, too. I just love where it's like, okay, we're pretty sure Pennywise is dead, but if he's not, let's make the solemn vow to come back and finish killing it.
Yeah.
You know, fine. And then the movie ends and it says, okay, chapter 1. You're like, ah! It's so good. I came out of there like just happy and excited for the world, even though I just seen like a horribly violent movie about a clown eating children.
Came out wanting to punch a clown.
I wanted to punch that clown. I wanted a baseball bat for that clown. So good.
It's weird. It sounds like it was on my list. The way we were talking
It
about
should have been on your list, you bastard.
it was for a bit. I don't know why
It was
it's not.
so
It kept getting
good.
pushed down.
I feel
apparently.
like, you know what? Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, favorite movie of the year, hands down.
It's good.
Okay, well, My number one for the year is actually Baby Driver.
Yeah.
I
Lily
had
Collins.
been looking
Mhm.
forward to that movie for a year and a half, 2 years maybe.
Since you read the cast list.
No, since Lily James was literally cast in the movie, which was in 2015, which was shortly after Cinderella, which was actually the first thing I'd ever seen her in. So I wasn't even as big of a fan of her then as I am now. Thanks. But no, Baby Driver is probably my favorite movie of the year. It's a really good story, really great action. So the reason it's my number one and not Star Wars is because it's an original movie, and just if you look at my list, most of my list is literally blockbuster movies. They're like sequels to something, or they're associated with something else, or they're remakes. And like for this one, I just was like, Baby Driver is one of the most original movies of this year, and it's my number one. I looked forward to it for so long, and it was getting great reviews when it was doing the festival circuit, and I was like, okay, this is going to be awesome, it's going to be so cool, and then I actually got to see it, and I was like, it's just as awesome as I thought it was going to be, reading all these reviews. I love almost everybody in that cast, to be honest. I think Ansel is really good. Jamie Foxx is Jamie Foxx.
I love him.
And then, like, John Hamm is John Hamm.
No, he's hamming it up.
Yeah, we've got the Punisher. We've got John Bernthal for 5 minutes.
As you do.
He's great for those 5
As
minutes.
you do
though.
with John Bernthal.
Hey.
Wind River, honorable mention.
Lily James. I'm a huge fan of Lily James, and this movie introduced me to Asa Gonzalez, who is now one of my favorite actresses as
That's
well.
how you say her name.
Asa, yes, it's
Nice.
Asa Gonzalez.
Now I know that.
So
Now you know.
now you know. The more you know. So yeah, I've become a fan of her since then, and I keep looking out for things that she's doing now.
She liked the movie
So-
so much, she's literally the only person here to play that music while doing donuts in the parking lot.
I wasn't the one doing donuts.
No, but you were playing the music.
I played the music though.
You
I
did put the
definitely took
music
the
on.
song on.
That's another story, a good story for another time. That's a terrible Moz.
That's what that was?
That,
That's
that
definitely
was
what he was
bad.
trying to do. But yeah, there's just so much to love about that movie. The sound design, the direction, like that first
Oscar
scene.
for sound editing.
Oh
sound
my
mixing.
gosh, it has to win for sound
I'm just
editing
naming an
and
Oscar
mixing.
for every movie on our list.
That first scene, not even the first scene, even though that's the first scene. That intro is first off a fantastic intro because you're into it from the moment it starts. But the scene where he goes to get everybody coffee, that one long
he's just walking down
shot. But it's so great
Mhm.
because if you're listening to the song that's playing in the background, the lyrics are on walls and stuff as he's
Mhm.
passing them by. And it's so well thought out, and the directing is so good. Edgar Wright, man, it just made me upset that Edgar Wright didn't get to do Ant-Man, because I would love to see what Edgar Wright would have done with Ant-Man, because Baby Driver was just...
But good for Edgar Wright for finally getting like a successful movie. Because
Yeah.
every movie he makes is so good and they never make money. It's like Shaun of
I
the
mean,
Dead and this.
this one did... I mean, it only did 20 mil the first weekend, but it
For
did
its budget,
but it did
it's
better
good.
than a lot of people thought it was
Mhm.
going to do. And
people have heard about it.
Yeah, and people started
nobody
hearing
knew
about
about
it.
Scott Pilgrim. Nobody
Yeah.
knew about Hot Fuzz.
Even though Scott Pilgrim is
Exactly. That's
Yeah, it's
exactly my
good.
point.
So-
But you know what?
Yeah.
Scott Pilgrim is good. Baby Driver's fucking great.
Is this your favorite Edgar Wright movie?
Yes, it is.
Over Shaun of the Dead? Or
I also have never seen the Hot Fuzz
Right.
trilogy.
I have. It's great.
But I've
Wait,
seen
no,
Scott
I haven't
Pilgrim.
seen World's End.
But yeah, no. So
I
Baby
see.
Driver. I remember finding out that the DVD was gonna come out like 3 days after my birthday, and I was like, oh my god, that's my birthday gift to me. Like I need it so much in my life. So it's in my collection. I keep it at school with me because it's like my favorite thing of this year. So yeah, there
It's
you
a
go.
great disc too. When you take the disc
It
out of
is.
the box,
It's so great.
it's a record, but it's got the instead of the scratch or whatever the needle thing is.
It's got the car.
millennial. It's got the
his
car
red
instead.
car, 'cause
But
it looks
it's-
like a road.
Yeah,
Oh.
it
It's
does.
so
It's
great.
great. It's like my favorite
Oh
disc
my
design
gosh.
ever.
The only thing about that movie is I remember that Kevin Spacey is in it, and that's the only thing
Who?
I get.
But
Yeah.
he's barely in it.
Christopher Plummer.
Christopher Plummer, he was
Christopher
great
Plummer
in that
is in
movie.
this
He was
movie.
so
Christopher Plummer
good.
was so good
That
at
scene
Baby
when he's
Driver.
drawing on the thing
Right?
and he's
Don't
talking.
give me any more lines from All the Money in the World.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, so great cast, great story, great directing, cinematography's great. Their color theory, like all of the color symbolism,
The best since Wonder Woman.
is the symbolism in the colors,
Yes.
just in general, is you have to really go.
You'll
deep
never
onto
see
that.
green the same way.
There
again.
are literally videos that are like 10 things you will not have noticed in Baby Driver, and I haven't watched those, but I need to. So yeah, it's great. It's a great movie. It's my number one. So.
Great movie.
Ballin'
Great
Shaw
movie.
Collin, what's your number one?
Ballin'?
What?
Bell bottoms.
Okay, that's fine.
So what was it? It was the
You know what damn well what it is.
baby, B-A-B-Y, baby.
There you go. Yeah, that was better than my Maz. Now we can move on.
That's because I've been, I'm mastered that.
I'm
early.
usually pretty good at Maz. It's terrible.
Okay. Anyway,
I like that Wookiee.
my number one movie of the year, at least that I saw in theaters this year,
Yeah, I know.
is Your Name. Because, that movie is good.
Oh, that's the one
Your
that he was saying
Name?
on the car.
What's
Yeah.
I forgot that.
It's-
Tell them what it is, Colin.
An anime movie. Basically, the premise is this girl from the countryside and this boy from the city wake up and they start swapping bodies for like a day at a time.
Oh, okay.
And they realize what's happening and they start communicating through like he'll leave a note on her phone. And then when she wakes up the next morning, she'll see that. And then they communicate through that. And they try to like connect with each other. And I don't like the term twist, but there is a twist and it's gut-wrenching. It's also like halfway through the movie, which means the rest of the movie has to play out.
Huh.
And I like that. But God, that movie is fantastic. Like I'd heard the reviews coming out of its premiere in Japan were saying that it was going to be amazing because the director is known for making really good movies. And I'd never seen his movies, so I didn't know what to expect. But it's a really simple premise, done extremely well. It's beautiful to look at. And it's not doing anything fantastical. There's no magic. There's nothing like that. We never find out how they're switching bodies. It doesn't matter. But it's gorgeous. The music is really good. And it's one of those movies that stays with you. Like I think about that movie a lot. And I've actually bought the Blu-ray twice. I bought the Japanese version and then I bought the US version because the US version is gorgeous.
So you're going with dubs, not subs?
No, I would watch it sub because I've never seen the dub and I don't particularly want to.
Okay.
That being said, I bought the US version because the case for it, the way it's designed,
Gotcha.
it's like it's the two characters and then when you pull the case apart, like they split apart.
Aw.
It's so like
That broke my heart a little right there.
God, it's good.
It's so good, and it's so heavy.
Now-
It's so good.
For the people at home, this is not Call Me By Your Name.
Oh,
It's
that's-
your name.
Listen,
Your
I don't-
name.
No, Call Me By
Okay.
Your Name I didn't particularly like.
I'm pretty sure both of these characters are teenagers. It's not a teenager and a grown man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that too. That too. There's
Yeah.
no
Talking about Shape of Water again?
weird consent issues.
They were in Italy. It was fun.
It's fantastic. I think the story is done really well, and I also feel like it's a movie that takes advantage of its modernity, like with the cell phone thing. That they can use the cell phones. Yes, they could use like notebooks,
Yeah.
But
they
why?
don't, because they have cell phones.
Weird. We have technology
It's
now.
so-
And it's
SpongeBob.
great
So
too
good.
because the way that's used is because it's all data. Like at some point the messages disappear, and that would be hard to do if you had a notebook. You'd have to like misplace a notebook, and I don't know. It's just the way it uses the setting works really well, and the
Okay.
way the two interact with each other and then the people around them, because when they come back to their own bodies, they don't remember what the other person did, and that's a lot of what the messages is. It's like this is what happened.
Yeah.
So there's like, the guy has a crush on his boss, and he wants to go down a date with her, and
She's legal, right?
oh my god, yeah,
So
yeah, but she's not.
Oh!
No,
We
Colin.
did it! We broke it! Ruined
Did
I was gonna tell everybody to watch this
We're
movie. Now we
But
can't.
it's
No, we
okay. 'cause
can't.
They don't end up together and they don't do anything.
Sure.
But
So it's
like
It's not like Tom Hanks big.
that scene in particular is really great because he doesn't go on the date with her. The girl does.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Thing.
Okay.
And his body. Yeah,
Or
because
no,
That
the
took a-
girl
that took a-
she
gets,
sets it up.
The girl sets up the date, and he ends up going on it.
Very different stories there.
And it's
Colin.
great
Oh, yeah.
because in the end, the woman's like, "Yeah, I kind of liked you better before."
Oh.
It's
I know the
sad,
feeling.
but
So she
it's-
liked the girl.
Yeah,
Well, yeah,
because
girls
he
know
was
what other girls.
he was like nicer and just a
was that?
different person, and I don't know.
So he
it's,
was
That's
Okay.
obvious. Like that's literally just.
But yeah,
common
it's
sense.
like that movie, and it was gonna be on my list, and there was the whole thing like, well, it came out last year, so maybe I'll take it out. I don't know. But when I saw the movie with you, I walked out and I was like, that was good. It was really good.
Hmm.
And like the more I thought about it, I was like, that was freaking great.
Yeah.
Like, that movie was
Okay.
really. I started thinking about everything else. Like that movie's really, really good. And it was on my list for a bit, and then I was like, I think this movie came out last year in Japan or whatever, and I don't know. So I took it off, but it was
So
definitely.
we took it off just because of like technicalities, right?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
as far as
You didn't know
quality
what
goes,
year it came out.
it's one of the best movies I've seen in 2017.
So question for you. I don't like anime. I don't like Spirited Away.
okay, see,
Do you
that's
think I would like
you're
this movie?
judging.
I'm gonna fight you.
I feel like when you say you don't like anime, you're saying you don't like the Studio Ghibli movies you've seen.
Okay.
That's
Why don't you
fine.
like
They
them?
make a specific type of movie.
Do you not like the style? Like visually, you don't like anime?
Visually, I think they're fine. I just,
Oh,
Okay,
okay, well,
then you just need
yeah,
to
that's not
watch
your issue.
So do you think I would like Your Name?
Yes, that
Okay.
one is.
Well, I feel like your objection to Studio Ghibli, from what I understand, is a lot of like it
Are we
doesn't
gonna
really
discuss
go anywhere.
Apparently.
But
yeah.
that's the point.
That's my thing, yeah,
It's
there's
kind
not
of
really a
slow
story,
and
it's
nothing
just-
really happens.
Yeah.
That's a Studio Ghibli. That's the kind of movies that they make, by
Okay.
and large, except for like Princess Mononoke has more going on. But that's the kind of movie that they make. You just need to watch something that has more going on.
And it sounds like Your Name does.
It does. Or you
So
could
I
do
might-
like
I might check this one out.
Ghost in the Shell, which is an action.
Do not the
Or you could
actual
do-
live action. Watch
Or
the
anything-
anime.
Or you
Yeah.
could do
Alright.
Akira. Oh, Akira.
Akira's one I've
haven't seen
definitely
that
been
one.
wanting to
That
check out.
Okay, I saw it at midnight movie, and I was a little bit incredibly confused, but also it was 2 a.m, and I wanted to go to sleep.
I've seen that bike chase a million times.
Yeah, the bike chase is intense.
Yeah.
And then just the concept, I was like, what is going on?
So your number
It's
one.
really good.
Your number one was Your Name.
Yes, it is.
So that's
We've
it.
gone through all of
Did
ours.
them all.
Yep.
We did it, guys.
And I'm proud of our number
Woo!
ones. Like, we had a nice diverse group of number
Thank you.
ones.
Your Name, Baby Driver, It,
It.
Spider-Man, Big Sick.
Yeah.
we got
That's
some
good. That's a
blockbusters, we
solid
got some
list.
indies in
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Indies, we
That
got
was a
an
good,
anime.
solid list. I'm proud of all of
I
us.
feel like mine was like some mid tier that somehow ended up being a blockbuster.
Like we have,
Baby Driver, yeah.
I think all
Blockbuster
different
after the fact.
genres
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The closest would be ours. Are both like actions. And stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, but even
Right.
then,
This is
mine
why we
still
don't get
very
along.
different.
Like a heist, yeah, like romance, straight up.
Romance,
Horrible horror.
indie.
Hey, great horror. Excuse
Great.
you.
You know what
Thank
I
you very
mean.
much.
And I
That
feel,
boy got his arm.
I feel like our number
He did.
ones say a lot about how different we all are.
No, hold on, wait. But I feel
I
like
love superhero
it doesn't
movies.
define me really that well. Like, I'm so
She
shocked
loves
that it
romance.
was my number one.
He likes anime.
I do like
She loves
romance.
Lily James. I love superhero movies.
I guess
he
I like
likes-
horror now.
And he's a
He likes
twisted
killing
fan.
kids.
I mean,
I like it.
I like.
Depends on the kid.
Wait, I like.
Oh, so you consider it?
Wait, Dallas. I would like to argue I like action movies. Lily James is just a plus on top of that.
True.
All right, so that was our episode.
That was
Okay,
our
we
number
did it,
one.
we
Tell us
did
your
it.
number one
That
or
was
your
a
top
recap.
10 in the comments.
Recap of
Comment
2017.
your top 10 down
Yeah.
below.
Talk
Let us
about the
know.
movies that
Let us
you're
know.
upset that we didn't put in.
Tell us
Yeah.
how wrong I am for not liking Studio Ghibli. It's fine. I can
Yeah.
take it. Come at me,
If-
bros.
If you want to personally hurt Jesse, just do a thumbs up on this video.
Don't personally hurt me. That's why I put Gabby out of arm's reach.
Ah.
She's sitting around. Woo! Looks like I can do that now. Woo! All
All
right.
right.
Okay.
Anyway,
have fun
like,
out there.
subscribe, share this video, please. Somebody tell somebody about us.
And it's been
We're
a while
struggling.
since we've had a double tap. So.
Yeah.
It's been a while since we've had.
Yeah. Are
There
we ready?
you go.
Are we ready? Have fun out there.
Alright, ready?
1, 3.
Hashtag girl powerosity or whatever the.
It was girl
Girl Powerlicious.
powerlicious.